Good evening, everybody. Thursday night. Welcome to all of you. It is the 24th of January of 2019. Wait for some people to come in. I think it's going to be a very interesting night tonight. And thank you for James on Long Island for your suggestion tonight. And James said, Rosie, wouldn't it be cool? Just theorize, just fantasize. You had a 1988 Coachman Campervan, 1 year older than Elvis's. I bought it in Reno, Nevada, and brought it back to California. It was a harrowing ride because when I got there, the guy told me, you don't have any electrical charging system on it. Good thing I brought a nice, hot, fresh battery. That battery lasted just long enough to get that rig to Santa Rosa. And it was just came through the gate and boom. Hey, Buff, how are you? Juice, what's going on? Maggie, I'm jewelry making as I listen. Awesome. I'll wait a couple minutes. I got a shipment in today. Those of you who saw last week when I did, or earlier in the week, I had an unboxing of a amplifier. What the heck was that? That was the, hey Redhead, how are you, baby? It was the that Dynakit 70, and I had a Mullard tube that was smashed in there. And for those of you who don't know, Mullard was probably the best name ever in making vacuum tubes for audio systems there. And I was really thrilled. This is a Russian reproduction. I guess they bought the rights to make the tube, and I was kind of looking at these today, these repros, and they're going to be a match set of 4. Very nice quality, made by Svetlana in Russia. So we'll see how they work out today. Jackie, I'm feeling good, honey. Thanks for coming on tonight. Nice to see you. I'm kind of excited. I just unboxed that a couple minutes ago. Super happy. Missy Jenn and I went out and grabbed a little bit of, treated ourselves to some pizza tonight. So that was kind of fun. So I just got back. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling like, yeah, I'm missing one more tube. I just need one more rectifier tube here, and I'm good to go on that. I'm going to go put this. Susie, how are you, sweetie? Nice to see you. I am happy to have that in. Jeremy, what's going on? Where have you been hiding, my friend? Hiding somewhere in New York City. I'm looking like a snack tonight. My belly's full of pizza tonight, so I didn't even know if I'd get back in time to get on the hangout. But I saw that box sitting outside tonight, and I could not resist opening that. So once again, James, thank you for your suggestion. I really went through. I had a blast today, and one of the things that I've done all my life is I've done restoration. Hello, Vicky. How are you? I've done restoration, whether it's vintage audio, houses, making things like new is really a passion of mine. At 15 years old, I bought a 1951 Chrysler Imperial with one of the first Hemi head, the firepower engines with the very deep ceramic spark plug caps, spark plug covers that went down deep in the hole, and I was always very fascinated. I rebuilt that whole thing, had it painted. I even had a sewing machine at age 15 and was doing the upholstery on that. JK No Count, Luna Moon, how you doing, beautiful? Luna Moon. So when James said you were talking about the working on the Lisa Marie, and what would you do if you had a chance to fix the Lisa Marie? Well, it's not even a question of fixing. When you have a rig that, yeah, we restore vintage cars, that's really cool, Maggie. But I thought people might enjoy what I would do with that reporting for duty. How you doing, Mally? Man, that was a smacking video you had on there tonight. That was really awesome video. Let me put this. Let me put this up here. Let me enlarge this chat a little bit here. Put this up. Yeah, it's going to have it too. I got that all spec'd in. No worries at all, Street Life. I got a toilet put in. I got the works put into this thing. That was a smacking video. Once again, if you guys aren't sub to Mallory Williams, check her out. That was really a styled piece there with sort of the vintage sepia tone. When do you see that? Yeah, Drew said, I want to see the Lisa Marie Gotti. Well, there's some people that want to see it be there to push the plunger on it. But one of the things that, how you doing, Carlos Martinez? One of the things that I thought I would do would be enjoy a total restoration of that. Many years of aircraft mechanic and also vintage car rest. Hope I can provide some useful content. Also a CDL license. I think you're going to be interested in this, Cobra John. It might not be of interest to everybody here. Hey, Cheryl, how you doing? But I think we'll have some fun. Matronista, I love you, honey. I love you, honey. Rosie Calvus doesn't want him enabled by being YouTube anymore. I don't even know what that means. He's going to kill somebody. Hey, Carol, how are you tonight? Cobra John. Sister Janet doesn't want him enabled. Oh, they've been on the outs for years. Janet didn't. Hey, TLA, how are you? Nice to see you, Cobra John. How you doing, agitator? Nice to see you. Welcome aboard. I never get involved in family stuff, that's for sure. Keith Thompson Jr., how you doing? Oh, I don't know, Mr. Market Bass. Like I said, I don't get involved in that. And Matronista, you're hurting, honey. And I saw that comment underneath of the video today. And you be proud of yourself. This is one of the cases where you cannot be marginalized. Hey, Janae, you cannot be marginalized for wanting to do something in your interest, like a GoFundMe. Your husband passed away. It was a brutal period that you went through. And you have a right to ask people at this time what you want to ask them. You know, and I fully support that. And I don't think anybody's really being negative about that, but you know, I want to give you a chance to vent before we, you know, work to try to get your future in order financially and a couple other things coming out. Am I sending out? I'm not sure, JK. We're going over this whole rebuild thing here. And probably later on, after it's all done, I'll be sending out the links for that, JK, for sure. I just want to keep things very on track because it's a very long, very thorough. And this is what I do if I've got, what about the military comments tonight that hurt Elvis and Tasha? What does that mean, Street Life? What does that mean with the, hey, Marshall, what does that mean about the military comments that hurt? You mean on Dave's stuff today? You mean on Dave's? Oh, well, you know, I got to stand up for vets. I mean, Tasha's a nice person, but we don't have to see eye to eye on everything. I'm not an anarchist. I'm a person that believes that you have to have some fundamental ordering of society, or everything would just evolve into the rule of it would just be the rule of the jungle. You know, you have to have things like, you may not like paying taxes. You may not like feeling you live within sovereign borders, but it is what it is. Hey, WWDF, it is what it is. You know, to take a world that is quote unquote advanced, and then, you know, try to suppose a world where you're going to carve out a place with no taxes, some type of utopian where things transcend the laws of man and stuff. You know, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't want to live in that kind of world. You know, as Chief Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes said, taxes are the price we pay for a civilized society. I don't like paying them. I pay taxes on the Rancho here. I pay income taxes. I pay sales taxes. I pay use taxes. I have a tax I have to pay because I have a well on the property. There's registration taxes, title taxes. There's just so many taxes that we have to, you have to pay. Oh, okay, you were showing us your orchard when the crap came back. Okay, all right. But I'm just saying, I got to be squarely behind, the vets and their service, and also for a society that's ordered and civilized. I mean, I'm definitely a friend of Tasha, but we don't have to see eye to eye on everything. People have all kinds of utopian theories and theories of police states, and I don't know whether I call that sometimes the 1984 mentality, where Big Brother is watching and controlling everything. School taxes too, Susie. That's a Pennsylvania tradition out there. Let's see. It breaks legs. I don't want to hear about. I don't want to have family stuff. That's up to them. Don't forget the user fees. Yeah, I don't get involved in family squabbles. So I will say, if you ask me, do you know Janet? I'm probably the only one here on YouTube that has actually met her in person, sat down, and broke bread with her and had a great time out there in Chicago. So, but I don't choose to be involved in family things. So I'm going to get something to drink. Yeah, I don't have much in the way of blocking in here and all that. This is pretty much a free speech zone. Gummy said the entitled mentality thrives. She doesn't deserve to live in America. Well, Dave stood up for what Dave, at least what people are telling me, Dave stood up for what Dave thought. But I do like Tasha. I don't have to buy into all the political ideas. I just know you can go through life with a lot of friction when it comes to law and legal things, and you can get yourself ensnared with lawyers and court and cops. And once you kind of get on the cop list, then they're never going to kind of look at you the same way again. And it's a tough way to go through life. I'd rather try to go through a little bit smooth. You got to be level-headed, Bosco. Thank you. You definitely got to be level-headed about that. I mean, I don't want to insult anybody, but it's kind of what I call living in the real world. And police authority is one of those things that you really have to accept. And I'm going to tell you a story. And this is something that your trolls did to us. We were swatted going across the from Missouri into Illinois. I mean, it happens. Somebody, no doubt, alerted, as we left that morning and did a morning video that we were leaving Missouri and headed into Illinois to make it to hopefully Ohio. Somebody called ahead to the Illinois authorities, and as soon as we crossed over the border into Illinois from Missouri, we were tracked by a dark green van with tinted Suburban with dark tinted windows that came up beside us, and then came back and it tracked us, and it started trying to block us in with another vehicle so that we couldn't move out. And every time I tried to step on the gas, because I didn't know what the hell it was, I would get moving forward. The vehicle would speed up. I'd slow down. The vehicle would track next to me. And finally, he put his lights on and pulled us over and, gave me some babble about the probable cause or something like that. So, I mean, stuff like that happens. It's not fun. Now, I got it on video, or they would have said it never happened on that trip. But it's not fun to be swatted in life. It's not fun to have the cops tearing through, or the DEA or the drug officials tearing through your suitcase and putting all your crap out there. And, it's not a fun thing. Go get a drink. Thank you, Cobra John. I think that I will. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Oh. All right. All right. Excellent. Woo! All right. You stir that a little bit. Ooh. Thank you very much. I'll tell you one other note, guys. I'll make one other note about military. And Matronista, are you still in here? Type something on the side chat, Matronista, if you're still in here, honey. Well, I did it. FTWK, I did it as a passion for Sideline. Hey, everyone knows it's Rosie. How you doing? Stop swearing. Thank you. It's kind of a hobby that turned it. I'm one of the last people that rebuilds tube audio equipment and amplifiers. Matronista, do you have a link for your PayPal or anything on your channel, honey? Do you have a link for that on your channel at all? Oh, JN's like, I want a burning van celebration. That's it. Okay, if you got a link for that, you're here. I just want to say, if you feel inclined, and I will certainly, if you have that link on your channel here, I want to encourage people. You lost your husband. You're trying to get your life in order. There's your own bills to be paid. I know some of the charities that we support here, and I've certainly supported St. Jude's with a ton of money on my own links and on my own personal donations, but individuals trump that. And I'm going to tell you what, if you want to head over to Matronista's channel there, if you feel so inclined to give her a little bit of a donation there to help her defray some of her costs post of her husband passing away at Christmas, I think right on Christmas Day, actually. She went for a very terrible 3-month period. I'm proud that Cooper and I have stood with her for, the better part of 3.5 months for the agony. I've tried to give her a little bit of space to mourn and to get on with her life. So if you feel so inclined to be compassionate, there's somebody that legit has suffered and has suffered mightily on here. So feel free to, she'll post something on the channel once in a while. Matronista, she's a wonderful gal. She lives in Alabama, and she's very, very, very sweet. Solar generator. So let's talk about one more thing for the cops. What made me cops and authorities. 1968, when Baltimore was burning downtown, some of us were in the hood and couldn't escape that. I don't know if any of you have ever been involved. Hello, Gustav. I don't know if any of you have ever been involved in a full-scale riot situation with a lot of really pissed off people torching buildings, pulling people out of cars and beating the hell out of people and just going crazy and turning cars over. I mean, at 10 years old, I'm seeing this stuff go on the streets of Baltimore. And thank God the 18th Airborne Division was called in, and another group, Army group from Georgia, or I don't know, fort something down in Georgia, one of the forts. And what a sight that was when the Maryland National Guard proved totally ineffective under Governor Spiro Agnew to put down that riot. Boy, I'll tell you, the people that were fighting for those lives that couldn't get out of those ghettos, including our family, you better be damn, you better believe we were damn happy to see troops marching up the street. I wouldn't have wanted that. To me was as close to anarchy as I ever want to get or ever want to see. And then in 2015, in the same Baltimore, when the mayor of Baltimore told the police just stand down, and you saw the result of that, it was a city out of control for a day and a half. I'm sorry, not the kind of thing that I ever want to see again in my life. So there was a tidal wave. Yes, there was a Street Life said, there was a tidal wave of molasses. I think there was 1914, a molasses tank burst, or 1918 in Boston, and people got swept, buried in the goo, and people were killed, and it was a terrible, terrible incident. How you doing, Linnell? How are you tonight? So let's talk about, I'm going to bring Elvis on. Like I said, James up in the Northeast was theorized to me. Rosie, you always talk about the Lisa Marie. He says, I remember when you had Little Rascal and you rebuilt your 1988 Coachman campervan. I didn't quite rebuild it, but I took it for $5,500. I got the price knocked down because the guy kind of wasn't real honest with the listing on eBay. I got another $500, so maybe $5,000. I ended up selling it for, I don't know, 10 or something like that. So it turned out pretty good. Yeah, Juice, that was a tough thing. So Marshall, I'm going to go ahead and send you a link here because I'd like your feedback on some of this. This is about the Lisa Marie, and it's almost like if you were going to work for Coachman, it's almost like the way that you would like things to be on there. So I have a really extensive. You can look at the list that I have here. And if you were bringing me a project to tell me to renovate a house, to tell me to rebuild a vintage automobile or something, I would prepare a work order estimate like that with material list, with a very detailed flow of work on there. WD, hey, Rhode Island Van Man, how you doing? Nice to see you. What's up, Marshall?
Hey, what's going on?
Nice to see you. I got this. Thanks for coming on tonight. I set this up with you last night.
I just want to salute everybody here. I'm having Starbucks mocha frappuccino.
I don't think I've ever had Starbucks. Well, maybe once in my life I've had Starbucks.
Hey, this is fit for a king. It's glass, it's frappuccino fit for a king. By the way, I wanted to say 2 other drinks I had today from a Colombian restaurant. Cafe con leche with authentic Cuban coffee, El Cafecito coffee from Miami, Florida, and also a cortadito. I'm sure you know what those are all, right, Rosie? So I
got no idea. Take care, Susie. I got no idea what that is. I'm not Italian, and I'm not I just know, brother, you live high on the hog compared to me, I'll tell you, with that kind of stuff. But what is the other stuff you were talking about? Hello, Rosie O. Springer. What is that you were talking about?
Oh, well, no, you mean the cafe con leche is half coffee, half milk.
That's it. It's half and half.
Cortadito is kind of like an espresso. It's like a Cuban espresso. So there's a lot more coffee than the cream. So it's like a stronger,
Yeah, it's like a half, and I have heard of cafe con leche.
What was unique about what I had was I asked the guy at the Colombian restaurant what kind of coffee beans it was, and he said it was from Miami, Florida, and it was a company called El Cafecito. So I'm not sure if that's from Cuba or if it's actually made in Miami, but it was really, really, it was much better than what you would get at Walmart, which is Cafe Bustelo. It was a really good coffee bean. I've never heard of it.
Question, Rhode Island Van Man, did you get your brakes done 10 months ago? Were they done 10 months ago? I don't remember. What was done on your brakes 10 months ago? Did you have brakes?
I don't know why people keep on saying that I got my brakes done 10 months ago. I just made a video a couple of weeks ago, and I showed the estimate of the brake estimate on I made a video of that just a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. All right.
Of the brakes. Actually, and I'm looking back at my maintenance records. I actually replaced the shoes and pads, and I have a lifetime warranty on them, so I can return them, and they'll give me new shoes and pads.
Hello,
But the calipers were never replaced. The calipers, I remember my rotors were replaced, but now it's damaged because of the pad wearing thin. But I don't believe I've ever replaced my calipers from. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think he can see this. I think he's on his phone, so I don't think he can see
the side chat. I'm on the phone.
Side chat. But I'm saying that, hello, Life with Diane. Nice to see you. Thanks for popping by tonight. Christy, nice to see you. Marsha, what's, if, you know, to you with the layout of the Coachman in 1989, what did you see after having lived in that for years? What's the big deficiency of that? What's the big deficiency of the Coachman that you did?
The biggest deficiency was not having the bed in the right place, and that's why I put in the jungle room. So it really solved a lot of problems. That was the biggest deficiency was that, and that right now has been pretty much solved. That was the huge problem and stuff.
Yeah, well, I found the tub. I never used the tub one time. I found the quality of the tub was very poor in there. So, you know, it was never.
The tub is made for somebody who's 150 pounds and smaller, and also the toilet, the Thetford toilet, is so small that it was not a large enough toilet.
Okay.
And also the black tank being under the toilet, it's a very uncomfortable sitting position because your legs are kind of dangling. And I mean, I think if somebody wanted to keep the toilet, they just wanted to keep the Coachman layout, you'd have to change the toilet to a much more larger, comfortable toilet, and maybe put something under your legs so your legs don't dangle, because you're sitting elevated literally about 8 inches because of the black tank that's mounted on the bottom of the toilet. So it's a very uncomfortable seating position. So,
okay. So, well, here it comes, Mark. Well, and then you always had a dream of a shower that was a bigger size shower in this rig, and behind the driver, somewhere behind the driver's seat, with a thing on the ceiling, something that you could shower, because the existing tub is just too useless for showers if you're a big person. So, in my mind, but this is the things that I would do to that rig if it came in. It wouldn't be a repair. This is what you would need to do a total restoration on this vehicle. Now, when you have a total restoration on a vehicle, that means that you're tearing out pretty much the whole rig, especially the internal, and doing some things to it. So these are the things that I would carry out and have done. First thing you do is remove that jackknife sofa, Marshall, and just trash that jackknife sofa up front. Right. All it is like a placeholder. It's not that comfortable to sleep on it. The damn thing is heavy to put it down. Hello, Charlie. Nice to see you. The damn thing is really heavy.
Right.
To go down. You know, it's very difficult to open up and deal with, and it also takes up a lot of space up there. And it's a nice place.
It's definitely the size of a full-size bed. It's about 5'10" long.
Okay. So, hi, hipster. Hello, Greg Campbell. Nice to see you. Number 2.
About almost 6 feet of interior room in the coach. It's a lot of interior room being taken up for that sofa.
Yeah, a jackknife sofa means a sofa that kind of opens in the center and pulls out like those queen beds that you would see in those sofa beds. It kind of opens, you pull out, and it cantilevers out to open like on a twin bed. So I found it difficult because it blocks you can't open your refrigerator when it's open. You can hardly walk around inside the rig when that thing is open. And remember, I had a rig that was a year older than Marshall's, the 1988 Coachman. So next thing I'd do is I'd remove the jungle room bed and junk that too. I mean, it was a good effort to try to put that in, to have that to be in the back, to have a little more room that you didn't have to take the sofa down, the jackknife sofa. But I would remove that, Marshall. I would junk that sofa. Then the next thing I'd do is I would remove all the wood flooring in there from the whole rig and strip that right down to the flooring of the van. Yeah, you got to junk that bed. I'm looking at the side chat there. You've got to absolutely junk that bed on there and pull that. Junk the floor too, because I give it to Mr. X. I give him credit to Mr. X. Well, remember, Harry, this is just the vehicle being done. Okay, Harry Tinkler, this is the vehicle being brought into a theoretical shop to have a total restoration done to it. So far, so good, Marshall. I agree. Yeah. Yep. Pulling out that, and just, you know, for hygiene reasons, just incinerate both of those beds and get rid of it. You need to also, one of the things I noticed, and I'm not sure, Marshall, if you saw it on your rig, like the bottom of the drawers and the pantry, you got to remove all the drawers in the pantry. You have that slide out thing that pulls out that you can keep canned goods. Do you have one of them on your rig?
Yes, I do have a pantry. It's still in there. The pantry is still in there. Yep. Yeah,
so that's okay. Then assess the condition of that and maybe remove that for the restoration. Remove all the drawers on the sides by the sinks and all that stuff, because those frames tend to dry rot down there when they're close to the floor. And they have like a peeling. Hey, Oda Mae Brown, it's like the finish peels off on the bottom or something. You know, they get funky.
Yeah. I also think that now you're getting into the build. I also think that I need to get all new cabinets, maybe from IKEA or somewhere else, maybe from an RV junkyard, and put more. There's a lot of room to put cabinetry around the jungle room, and even maybe a cabinet or two closer to the where the fiberglass top is. I'm very deficient in cabinets, because after I remove the closets in the back, the closet on the passenger side, and then the closet on the driver's side for the jungle room, I'm really deficient in storage now. So we need to have some cabinets put in.
And you have room to put that on the, you have room to wall mount that and put that on the side. Basically, it is a gut. It is taking it down to a basic van and then kind of redoing it.
Yep.
Now you have to, like I said, assess the cabinetry. Once you pull all the cabinets, you got to look at the frame for rot and damage. And I'm a believer, Marshall, at least up near the kitchen area, if the frame and stuff is good, to keep that frame, if possible, to maybe refinish those drawers that are in there. Kind of try to keep that original.
Well, also another thing is handles on all the cabinets, or putting new cabinets up above. But for the kitchen area, also, it's nice to have, and just for everything, for the fridge and a lot of other things, it's nice to have handles on everything. It makes the rig look better.
I agree. So then you have to assess the interior plumbing. You got to take a look at the existing water tank, the fittings, the gray tank. In other words, you got to understand how the systems work on that. You got to understand where the black tank is. And Marshall, I can't even remember if there's a separate gray water tank or if there's a black one.
Now the only existing tanks is the gray water tank that's mounted underneath the chassis of the rig, underneath the jungle room, and then the freshwater tank that's underneath the jackknife sofa. The black tank was eliminated.
That makes it easy then. That makes it a little easier. So you got to know what the things are to do that. I don't know if the black tank's leaking on there. It's pretty much sealed right now.
There is no black tank. It's been removed when it was sitting on the bottom of the toilet. That's been removed and thrown away and stuff. So there's no black tank.
So it really has no black tank at all, or it's just sealed off the cap?
There is no black tank. It's been removed though.
Okay. So there is no black tank now. So that may not even be necessary, but there will have to be an installation of a gray water tank. So then, Marshall, the concern is the generator there. And I'm not really a big fan of owning generators. Well, I'm just theorizing, Harry Tinkler. I'm just theorizing here. If I was doing this,
I think eventually with the generator, my opinion, and this is my opinion, I think it should be removed. I think that that area should be, the box should be, well, if I wanted to go with a dinette, I think I can remove the generator and cut the box of the generator that comes into the coach, seal it off with sheet metal, and then that way that whole area there will be open. There will be nothing in the way where, and then it'll all be open to building a new dinette and making the aisle shower behind the driver's seat, where I say that's where the shower should be, because the clearance, the height clearance is 6'8". And if that's done, then I can just eliminate the Onan and then go on to a portable generator and stuff. And plus, that would open that whole area up for storage and a dinette and other things and a shower and stuff.
Hi, East Coast lady. Well, what I would do is assume that the generator stays, because to me the problem is rather simple with the generator at this point in time. So just let's assume, for the sake of the rebuild, that you try to keep it original with the 2.8 microlight generator.
The problem with that is, if keeping the generator original in there, it's eliminating my possibility of having a larger shower or maybe a custom-made dinette.
Well, hear me out, and it may or may not, with my design plan that I thought up here. It was, I think, kind of a nice idea, and I'll roll that by you, because I like to think about respecking and relaying out, and I've had the experience of lowering a bathroom floor and that type of thing to below grade. But I would definitely assess that. I would perform a continuity test on that generator switch and all the associated runs to that generator. And the switch. See, this thing has an automatic switch. When you plug into shore power, it's supposed to take that automatically over to shore power. And then when you disconnect shore power, it's automatically supposed to cut that over. So when you start your generator, it moves on. Missy Jenn's doing good. I'm getting ready for her surgery next week. That's the next big thing.
The other problem with the generator being where it's at, it's taking up a lot of interior storage space. Inside of the rig, it's taking up a lot of interior storage space, and it's taking up a lot of room where a dinette could be installed, a custom dinette or an aisle shower. So it's coming into the coach, and the water tank can be put underneath the bed, and that would open up that whole area. You're talking about 6 feet of area in the rig, where you could make your dinette, your mini dinette system, and your aisle shower. It just takes up so much space in the coach and stuff, the way it is right now.
Yeah. So, well, I'm just gonna figure here, for the sake that it's kept, because my layout may make you change your mind. So what I would do is just totally pull that. I would just totally pull that generator and put it out on the bench, and work on the carburation, work on the connectivity, pull out that control board, that flight systems control board, and check the continuity of some of those parts on there, because the relays.
Another thing that needs to be done to the generator, and I saw someone do this on a Road Trek vlog on the internet, on a Road Trek 200. There needs to be a way where you could put everything on quick disconnects. Right now, it's hardwired in. The switch is hardwired in. The wire going to the battery, everything is hardwired in, where you can't take it out of the coach to get it serviced. So the wiring system and everything in there needs to be set up where you could disconnect it and get it out of the rig.
Well, that's what we're talking about. That's coming. Right. Replace the flight systems board if necessary. There's a small board that has all the relays and things that allows the switching to take place. It has a voltage regulator so that you don't overcharge the battery system. It has a sensor for the battery level on there. So,
well, do you think you can set up everything where the whole thing can be disconnected?
This is what I'm getting to. This is what I'm getting to. Thoroughly clean the carburation system and re-engineer that for easier placement of all filters. One of the big freaking problems on these micro.
One thing I wanted to throw in real quick, and I talked to somebody the other day about this, and they told me the reason that the generator will shut off after you take your hand off the switch is because the brushes are worn out. So that could be a possibility. I don't know the brushes that are in the generator. That's what I've been told, but I don't know. But I just wanted to throw that in there. So
Yeah, well, it would definitely, I would definitely get to the root of that problem if I was doing the rebuild. Then I would totally reroute. You know, there's never enough extra slack for fuel filter marshal. It's always a bite to get a fuel filter onto that damn, you know, to put a fuel filter onto that, you know, you have to reach down and try to squeeze it. The whole thing is a pain in the ass, the whole damn thing. So what you need to do is remove that side bracket, hinge that side bracket, and then I was going to say reinstall the generator. But if the internal support is sufficient enough, you can put that thing on a rail for pull-out installation. You can actually mount a bottom rail.
Let me just tell you my other problem with the Onan generator. With it running, with me sleeping in the jungle room, it's not as loud. But there's another problem with it is which has been a danger for some people that have did carbon monoxide tests. Even though it has a muffler, it could be, it caused a lot of shaking inside of the rig because it's inside of the rig as opposed to being outside. The shaking in the rig, the noise level, and also the carbon monoxide, the danger of carbon monoxide coming into the rig because there's only a little muffler that's venting the bad fumes out, and it's not really that far away from the rig. So that's another thing why I think eliminating the Onan generator is
hey, JD,
of eliminating it. That also, and plus the cost of maintenance. So
yeah, how you doing, JD? So let's assume then that a generator will be spec'd in with a custom cable connection that would make a plug-in connection capable from the outside of the rig to maybe have a 10-foot cord so that you could put the generator a distance away from it. I'm just speccing this stuff in, folks, as if I was going to do a total restoration on a Lisa Marie. What would that look like in terms of being done? So Marshall's at this point is saying it'd be better having lived in it because there is vibration and noise when you run this generator on the van. It's not that quiet.
There's vibration and noise. There's also the danger of carbon monoxide coming into the rig, and also the issue with getting it serviced. Nobody will work on the Onan generator but Onan. With a portable generator, you can go into any Honda dealership or lawnmower shop and take it right in and get it serviced, and they'll have it done within a day. And that's the issue with getting it serviced. Is Onan, it's $125 an hour. You take it in, they charge you to take it out. It could be an astronomical cost to maintain one. It's a lot of I would be more willing to just get rid of it and stuff, and close that space up and open it up for an interior shower or a custom-made dinette.
And to 180 degrees, I wouldn't say it's damage control. I'd just say what a normal hangout is, talking about content and quality content of a subject that a subscriber asked me yesterday to theorize this. I was happy this morning to put this together and do this. Just because it's fun for me. I love to do rebuilding projects. I'm not getting involved in people's families' affairs. I've been through all that. Nonsense.
Rosie, wasn't it amazing when I made the video of Chris Diamond's van and you heard the 2200 Craftsman?
Yeah.
And how quiet that was? And how, if that's going to be efficient on fuel and how easy it'd be to get serviced. It was pretty amazing compared to the Onan of how.
Oh, yeah.
And I just, this whole thing with the portable generator, it appeals to me more and more and more. It really does.
I'll tell you one thing. You are very correct. If you have a problem with your Onan generator, folks, and you're in an RV and you don't have anybody that knows how to work on an Onan generator, you're paying $125 an hour shop rate.
What if you're in the desert and your Onan generator goes out and it's 120 degrees and you need air conditioning? Then you'll be forced to go to an RV park and pay.
Oh, shoot.
As opposed to having a portable generator where you can go into any lawnmower shop or Honda dealer and get it serviced within a day or two.
And I use a Power Mate, which is done great for me, and it is sufficient to run a small, air conditioning system. You can't run anything else with the air conditioning, but usually you're not cooking the same time as you're, running a microwave at the same time that you are. Well, Jimmy Hill, it's fun for me doing the same time.
And Rosie, just to let people know that are getting into this lifestyle, the most expensive thing to maintain on a motorhome, on the RV side of the motorhome, is the generator.
Yeah,
It's absolutely so expensive to maintain the generator. It's as expensive. It could be as expensive as maintaining a transmission or engine. It really is.
No, it's fine, Jimmy. I'm trying to put content out here that's not focusing on. It's focusing on the positive and something that I enjoy very much talking about on my channel. And it's like Rhode Island Van Man was funny. How about concentrating on a resume? That was
how many people are watching now?
We got 200 people watching. No problem, Jimmy Hill. You know, this is good. This is interesting comment for a lot of the people that aren't. It's no problem. I'll have other people on panel later that want to come up. So, Marshall, I would do a customized fitting so that external generator is not a raggedy ass. I don't like people that's just a raggedy ass connection with a cable going through the back of a door and then it's closing the door on the cable. You know
well, one thing I just want to say, even if you were to make the own-end generator with quick disconnects,
I'm trying to get it
we could actually pull it out of the rig. Still taking it to own-end and paying them $125 to work on it would be so much more expensive than actually having a portable one.
I don't ban around a lot of people on. I got my mods are very light finger on here. Okay, but okay. Marshall said let's forget about the generator and we spec in a new. You know, you spec in like I use a Power Mate. It's been great. It was less than $300. It's 2,000 watts. I think the thing is.
I think I would go with a 2,000 watt or 3,000 watt generator, but I would have to have something that I can run the air conditioner for 8 to 10 hours. So I would probably have to go with an extended fuel tank and basically a box that's secured and also vented, so the generator.
It's like Gil Rogers said, 100/2200 will run a rooftop AC. So that's good to know. That's good to know. Micah Pino, the point is it's fun for me to talk about if I was going to rebuild and refashion a rig because I like to do restoration work. So I just thought this would be an interesting thing to talk to people about. And then we're in kind of the nitty gritty. We're not in the glory run. Hey, Aggie, we're still in the tear down phase. But I like to hear that. But I would sure as hell have a system that would maintain that A/B switch for to be able to have that ship to shore automatic. So when your external generator kicked on, it would automatically. I
think Rosie, what do you think? Even if you fix the own-end and leave it in there, if that's what you want to do, isn't it always nice to have a portable generator as a backup emergency? Like they have.
Well, remember, you got to carry that puppy with you. You know, that's the problem with an external. When that own-end, hey Scottish, thank you, sweetie. When that own-end's running good, Marshall, there's nothing better than that microlate. It's a really nice system. If it was me, I'd go to inordinate lengths to keep that microlate. But like you said, the vibration, thank you, D. Just me, I appreciate that vibration.
The vibration and also the noise, but actually it's. And I'll tell you this much, and this will kind of surprise you. I knew somebody, and I'm not going to mention his name, that has a Winnebago Travato, and they have the 2800, and it's actually mounted under the rig. And it was so noisy in one of those because there's no insulation and it's a steel body, and it is noisy, and there is vibration and stuff. So to me, I look at it this way: the own-end generator is outdated, and the propane refrigerators are outdated because they don't. Like I said, when we get into the propane refrigerator later, but it doesn't work good when the temperatures are hot because of the ambient temperature. And that's why I wanted to get away from that too and go to the 12-volt fridge.
Well, if you run a 12-volt fridge off that, you still have the compressor and everything else. It's going to be quite a draw, and you're not going to run your air conditioning on that. Did she have Lemtrada? I'm not sure what that is. Aggie said
as far as the refrigerator is, the reason why I wanted to try to push you to get it out of there. Number one, it's taking up space. It's making my bed smaller in the back, which I don't like. I don't like the jungle room bed. It's not big enough. And another problem with the refrigerator, when temperatures are 80 degrees or more, the refrigerator does not run cold enough. It will run 55, 60 degrees even more because it runs on the ambient temperature outside. and unless you have put electric fans on it and to get the heat out, it will not cool properly. And plus, it's making my bed in the back smaller than what I originally wanted. That's another thing that and it's taking up so much space in the rig. And that's another thing that I wanted gone out of the rig and stuff originally when I first started doing the build.
Well, the thing is, listen to my whole thing and then go through and then add anything you think, because you've lived in this thing for years. Right. Okay, I mean, that's the bottom line. You've lived in these things. But one thing I would certainly do, Marshall, is thoroughly test that A/B switch for the generator and for the for shore power for that time when you may be plugged into shore power, to make sure that integrates either with the generator or with the external generator that you may have on that type of thing. It's got to work. It's got to be smooth. I would also run additional 12-volt taps off of your distribution panel. These rigs have Parallax is the name of the manufacturer, and they take the 120 and they have a transformer, a big transformer in that, and it has 12-volt taps off of that. Well, you use 12-volt taps to run your lighting. You use 12.
Rosie, let me ask you this: what do you think about having and Coast 9500 mentioned this on the 91 and down Ford vans? They're not equipped to install a front hitch because of the sway bar or whatever's down there. Right. And if I were to get a a front hitch installed on the rig, what do you think about moving the on-end generator and mounting it on the front of the rig on a platform and keeping it, but mounting it there and then opening up that space for?
Well, let's talk about my work first, and then you can add your own thoughts to that, okay? But I would definitely add additional taps, 12-volt taps with 20-foot stubs. In other words, have coiled 20-foot pieces of wire ready to go, because you need to do additional wire runs to the back of the rig for, as I'll detail in a minute here. You got to remove that upper bed slide. You know, these rigs have an upper area. That's all got to be removed. That's all got to be sanitized, and that wood base, and you have to sanitize the forward windows and check them for water intrusion. That's really important. Water is really the enemy.
Well, the other problem with the windows, the rubber is so dry rotted, it's falling apart on all of them, on the sliding windows and also the plexiglass windows up front. All the rubber is dry rotted and stuff.
Yeah, so they do sell the coiled rubber so that you can put new gasketing material. I think it's like $1. It's like a $2.68 or something like that. And it's the groove that fits perfectly around the, you pop the window out and put that in, put the new groove in. Into that. So you need those 20-foot taps. You have a fantastic fan that you want to mount in the back above the rear bedroom area there. So you're going to need to run a power run. It's a good time to run it when you have everything all stripped out of there. So but you remove that bed, you clean and sanitize that interior roof within the coach too, because that tends to collect a lot of smells. It tends to not be the height of hygiene, so you get that really cleaned up with a really good power scrubber and a really nice Bissell system, something like that that cleans that up. Then you have to route that 12-volt cable to the position where you want the fan to be above the jungle room back there. That's something that you got to do in that position. Now, here we come to the real build-out. Now, you have to engineer and install a frame for the new jungle room bed with access for at least storing a composting toilet beneath that bed. Now, see, Marshall has a bed that was pulled out of another. Where was that taken out of, Marshall, that jungle room bed?
It was pulled out of a conversion van, so it was, and then it was re-engineered. Yeah. So,
so that jungle room bed, you have much more room if you do a custom build of a frame for a new bed up there with the good 1-inch plywood base on that and really good secured support down below. I think that's kind of mandatory that thing really be stable. And you're gonna have a much bigger bed back there, that's going to go more to the wall than what you have right now. So you can, if you have room, you build it high enough, you can slide a composting toilet and have that latched into a bracket. Just put that on the, so that it can clip down on that bracket, because I think you indicated that eventually you want to get.
I would want the toilet where you could access it from inside of the rig, where you pull it from when you're inside of the rig and you want to use it, and you just pull it from under the bed, from the front of the bed inside of the coach, and then you can access it and put it back when you're done and stuff. So
yeah, woo, we got Mr. Z in the chat. What's up, Mr. Z? Nice to see you, my friend. Yeah, so have that so you can be able to have a composting toilet. It's easily accessible, and then it stores under, as opposed to being. See, the thing I didn't like about the Coachman was the damn toilet sat right in the middle of the back, and on that.
Exactly.
So, think you're wasting your breath. A serious. I don't know, Vinny G. I'm doing it. This is for my own fun to do, to speculate about this stuff. This is what I'm enjoying. I don't get involved in other people's stuff on here.
For the record, the bed sits about 16 inches high off of the ground, off of the floor. So the bed would have to be however high the composting toilet would be. That's how high the bed would have to be to fit for clearance for it to go underneath the bed.
Yeah. So these composting toilets have been pretty well. They've been pretty well manufactured now. They're of decent quality. They seem to have very low. They work very well. I mean, I'm really surprised how well they work. So if you can pull that out and then push it under and have that secured when you're moving, that's a good thing. I think whatever interior cabinetry you're going to keep, Marshall, that all has to be refinished with polyurethane too. I
think that I would want to take all the cabinets out and get rid of the Coachman cabinets on the top ones. I only have 3 of them left, and just get rid of those and get new cabinets from IKEA that are more lightweight, that are more spacious, and then make the rig look a little bit newer on the inside.
Okay, Scottish, you take your time, honey. Well, I'm assuming as if the stuff would be kept. If you kept the original cabinetry, for me, keeping original is always a good selling point. You can always add additional cabinetry in the back.
I think I want to get rid of the original cabinets, because to put the cabinets around the jungle room, I want all the cabinets to match and look the same.
Right.
And that it would look odd to put 2 different kinds of cabinets. And I want the rig to look more modern and new, and just have all the cabinets match and be more uniform. So I don't want to get rid of pull the cabinets out and get rid of the cabinets.
I guess then, if money was an object, I would tend to get the melamine finished cabinets, the pre-sized ones that are already there on the shelf, and then just have them mounted into place, because that saves a lot of money with those prefab cabinets, and you can fit in there. The countertops rot on these rigs, absolutely rot. The countertop where the sink is
completely gone. Yep, that's gone. So
it's got to be gone. You either have to have a nice composite top. Ain't gonna be no granite. Granite's too much weight. It will rip the base out. If you try to put a granite counter on that small of a base, it's too top heavy. If you hit the brakes and that granite cuts loose somehow or another and rips off of there with that whole sink assembly, that could go right into the back of somebody in a passenger seat and put them right through a windshield. I would never use granite in a Class B RV, but I would certainly put in a composite, a good plastic resin, a really nice composite.
Something that's waterproof and stuff, that's not going to rot away, like
WDF plywood with marine. You know, the whole backing behind the sink's got to be replaced with something more waterproof that the water can potentially run down on there. Good point, WDF, on that. So yeah. I would then remove, you got to do mold abatement too. There's probably mold in the rig, you know, and that's unhealthy. You know, that mold all has to be removed out of that and treated with a bleach, you know, approved bleach. Then now we start to get to the things that composite. That's right, Fred. Remove the 30-gallon water tank from its existing position. And reposition that 30-gallon tank to the rear of the coach. Okay.
Which would be under the bed.
It would be under the bed, and you have to build a side little cabinet to enclose the water pump in there underneath of that bed. So you have to secure that for impact potential too. You can't just lay it under there.
Well, also under the bed, you have your fuse panel and fuse box. You have the junction box of the 30 amp there, and you have all the wiring for the generator and all that. That all has to be kind of removed or repositioned and cleared out.
That mold definitely has to be taken out on that thing. So, but that water tank has to really be secured.
Isn't it better to get rid of also the 30 amp cord that's inside the pull-out style?
We're gonna
get rid of that and put a 30 amp outlet. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. You got to remove that water tank. You got to secure for impact potential, and you got to reroute all the electrical for level readouts on quantity levels in that tank. That's no big deal. That's just running a fresh run of a 12-volt feed to the back there. Then you got to plumb that new water tank location with a side fill. Okay, you're moving that to the back. Well, Cobra John, we're talking about 30 times 8, 240 pounds. It's almost as if somebody was riding in the back of the rig. I thought about the weight situation, and I thought that would be actually give a little more traction. And the things are so forward heavy, these Coachmans, that I might actually do a little better for weight distribution in the back now. So plumb that new water tank location, and you have to put a new side fill on that with a fresh fitting through the van wall.
And I would actually want something that would have a secure door with a key, so no one can actually get access to my water supply from the outside, to be more secure.
Absolutely.
Than where it's like right now and stuff.
You either have to have a locking cap on that, which would probably be more cost effective. But to be able to mount that and to have that external so that you can fill instead of routing it all the way from the side and running a hose around for fill, have it in a convenience so it's almost right there.
When also, like I said, want it secure with something nice and secure so nobody can get to my water supply from the outside of the coach and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Then you have to plumb the new water tank with the side fill, like I said, and mount a new water pump box and electrify that using a 12-volt tap and have that wire ready to go.
And I think just one thing real quick with the water fill, I've seen some marine grade water fills where they're actually stainless steel or metal, and they're made better than, say, like the plastic for the RV, something that would last a long time. That would be better.
From that feed, you need to have a T feed that feeds the sink cold water, and then to have a feed that runs up to the shower location. Okay, because you need to be able to put that in and probably run that under flooring. You need to install the water pump, and you need to test that system.
Well, actually, the sink that's already there, I can actually use. I already have the shower head there, and I can use that for the shower. That's already built onto the sink. I don't have to worry about any water connections for that, because I'm going to use the sink as the shower.
Well, I'm speccing this as if I'm going to have a normal shower with a hot and cold mixer, okay, that I can feed. I'm not going to do enough in my life. I do ghetto. My whole life I've done ghetto. I mean, if I'm doing it, I want to have the shower with a hot and cold valve that I can do the mix and stand there, not scald the hell out of myself, and not stand outside and shower myself. But that's just me, on that. So now, Marshall, when we talk about installing a floor pan for a shower, we're now removing, since we don't have the water tank under the bed's been removed now, the jackknife bed. We've removed the, the paneling and the frame that the bed sat on. Now we have removed the water tank and moved that. So now we have about, I don't know, maybe 36, 40 inches of room behind the driver's area and to where you're going to butt up to the generator or where the generator used to be. You have a lot more space to work with on there. The problem is you have to be able to run plumbing underneath of that and get it back to your gray tank. And there's no guarantee that would happen. In other words, this is the configuration that you want to have here when you look at this. You want to have your, this is your driver's seat, this is your dog house, this is your driver's seat here. You wanted to have the shower behind there, and then you have the seat, then you have the storage, you have the back bed with the toilet that slides underneath, you have the water tank back here, and you have the additional storage here, and you have the sink, and here's the 2 doors that open the barn doors out the side. What I'm going to suggest is, rather than worry about how this is going to run, I would suggest that you raise the floor like a 3 inches in the whole living area there. Have an additional 3-inch step up there. When you raise that 3 inches, that flooring, what you're actually doing is allowing an under place where you can run electrical and you can run water feeds and all that underneath there. And you can also allow the shower pan to sit at floor level and below the drain, so that you can have like the road truck has an insert that goes on top of that lays flat, and it looks like a flat carpeted area that you walk on until you go to take a shower. Then you pull out the cover for the shower, and you have a shower right there. Now
that's a good idea, but that's what's done in the leisure travel. But Road Trek actually puts the whole floor.
Hi, Biker Rosie. Hi, Biker Rosie. Nice to see you.
But that is a good idea. That is definitely.
I mean, that's a brilliant. To me, it's a brilliant idea because it allows for It allows for under space for running lines and electric. It allows you to have that floor pan sits flat. When you cover it, it's like you have the whole use of your whole living area up there now. You're not walking on a floor pan, okay?
Which is the same design as the leisure travel, basically, right?
Yeah.
What they did.
The other difficulty is, like here, you don't just buy a plate. This is what got RV devs. Unless underneath of your shower pan is secured by a mortar base. Like I went out here, you can see the videos when I redid the shine check. I had to, in the bitter cold of February, mix up mortar mix, put it down, then put the shower pan on top of that. So even if somebody very heavy got into that shower, it would not crack that, it would not crack the plastic underneath of that. By building this raised floor, you can actually have that bottom of that pan sit on the existing floor and be fully supported across the length of that.
Isn't there also different grades of fiberglass? I've seen some that are better quality, more reinforced than others. The actual fiberglass.
Yeah. Now the alternative is to get that fully bracketed fiberglass solid fill underneath. But, using that van floor with a raised floor and that lip of that shower pan sits on it allows a lot of support underneath on the very floor of the van. And when it's covered, it gives you.
What would be underneath the shower pan to give weight? I'm 270 pounds, and you're talking about almost 300 pounds going on top of the shower pan. What would you put underneath there to make it where it would not crack?
Well, I'm saying you would have to have a highly baffled, with all these things are weight rated, Marshall.
Right.
These shower pans. So you would have a shower pan that is weight rated and has like triple reinforced.
That's what we talked about. When I stepped into the Coachman shower, it cracked. And now I'm, almost 300 pounds. And, you walk into something and you say to yourself, well, okay, how would I do this in a home? How would I do this in a van?
Look, trust me, ain't nobody going to put a mortar bed in there's another potential bomb to kill somebody somewhere on a highway. If just rip through your firewall and kill somebody in an emergency crash, you ain't going to put mortar in there. But Marcia, there are solid pans with solid bases on the bottom that are cast one-piece resin composite units that there is no baffling underneath. There is no fins.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've seen different grades of fiberglass in these camper vans, and some of them are very thick and rigid, and some of them are very cheap. You can tell just walking in them that it's almost going to crack. So I don't know if you'd have to get where you'd have to go to get that done.
Saying, look, the deal is, Marshall, they do sell solid bases. Okay, I mean solid bases. You just drill through placement of your through hall for the water drain and for the the P trap underneath that keeps odors and gases from coming out of the black tank up to and into the living area. You need to have a trap there, or else you'll potentially poison. You might be cooking ramen and then you fucking explode because methane gas was built up inside of the rig there, and then it's like kaboom. The other thing you need to do is put some type of vent stack on that too. Now, what that means is that plumbing has an air balance in it that if you just put a drain there, the tendency will be not for the water to go down unless it has some atmospheric vent off to the
the existing black tank vent that I have on there now, I cut it off, but I'd never put a cap. I don't think I put a cap on the pipe that goes to the sink. It's just open, and I think that's what causes the drainage problem.
Yeah, I think that you need to have a vent stack on these things for proper drainage and flow, or else they can sometimes just sit there. But I think raising the floor is an outstanding solution because you have 100% of use of.
You got to figure out how deep is the pan. How many inches is the pan?
I'm just saying, Marshall. Assume it's a 3-inch pan, and they have pans that drop below grade level. They made with a very strong lip that goes around that you mount through the plywood. That's the thing, and then below it has the full support. So yeah.
Well, how does leisure travel attach the pan? Is it glued? Because I don't see any screws.
No. So. Well, it is probably screwed with trim on top of it. Okay. Probably trim on top of that, but you definitely need to have vent stacks to get the air, water, to get the pressure, atmospheric balance so things drain properly in there. Okay, you need to run the hot water feed to the shower too. Okay, I got a total for all this market basket. Okay, I got a total at the end. You want to put where the shower is going to be. You have to make sure from the ceiling that you have the type of ceiling race or track that you can put a full curtain around and pull out from the side. So when you go to use the shower, you can pull your thing off the wall and actually bring it inside the shower area and close the shower curtain all around you. So you have to, waterproofing has to be.
That's what I talked about, putting a second fan above the shower. So I'll have one fan by the jungle room and one fan there to suck the moisture out for the restroom and also for the kitchen. So
yeah, I think you better just put your windows down, because I think these fans are expensive. Even the knockoff fantastic fans. I don't know if you have enough taps on your 12-volt system without running an auxiliary board for additional taps off of that thing. But maybe it's possible to put another fantastic fan. I'm not sure. But you need to have that ceiling track so that
with you talking about the bathroom, how large would the pan be then?
Well, this is what I'm saying. If you insisted the way you were talking about putting a damn pan behind the driver's seat, if you go in and out of the coach, you're going to be stepping on the damn pan all the time. You're going to be stepping on the corner of it. It's not functional. It's got to be below grade.
Exactly.
Now that can be as big as the shower as you want. It can be the full width of, it can be a much larger shower pan, because it doesn't have to worry about being behind the driver's seat, because it's a below ground, it's a below grade installation there. So it could theoretically be a 36-inch square shower. It wouldn't matter at that point, because all you do is just lift up the hinged access door, and there you are, right with the shower pan right there. So you need to test that. You need to have the hot water feed, the hot and cold. You need to test that shower system. And then you have to see about what type of flooring, you were talking about a rubberized flooring. Right. And I think rubberized is really the way to go. So I'm going to take a break for a minute, and we'll wrap up this job. I've got some money costs and some other things here. See, Marshall, I can tell you're kind of thinking, you're liking that idea of the raised floor about 3 inches with marine plywood there.
Well, that's definitely there is no question about it that's has to be done. That's because the leisure travel already came with a cutout sunken floor,
yeah.
And that's why they're able to do what they did with the pan and stuff. And they actually have one of the models has the full fiberglass floor, the full length of the aisle with a bamboo wood insert for walking. So I could go with the bamboo wood insert instead of, or something with a hinge insert.
Yeah. And believe me, Vinny's in engineering. He's got some engineering and building idea. That's the only way, and maybe the side chat agrees with me, that's the only way that you can have a shower in a rig like that gives you maximum living space, that all you have to do is reach down, pull your ring lift on that, lift out the insert, the covered ply. It would have a rubberized cover on it with the trim around the corner, 4-corner trimmed on it all the way around. And when you're done, you just put that back in place, and you've got the full use of
raising the floor in that area is not a problem because it's 6 foot. It's 6'8" clearance at that top part of the top there. So even if you raise the floor 5 inches, you'd be going from 6'8" to 6'3".
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I was thinking. Having walked in the rig myself, you could even have a step down if you thought that your space was compromised in the rear. But remember, these things go up to a big height. These Coachmans have very high internal roof lines on them. So even 5 inches and giving an additional sub step on the outside to comfortably step up to that. To me, it's the only way to do the shower. It's the only way to engineer a shower that's intelligent. It doesn't get in your way when you're operating.
And if you look at all the new rigs, all the new camper vans, all the Sprinters, they all have the shower behind the driver's seat. You look at the Winnebago Paseo, the Coachman CrossFit, so many high-end camper vans, the Pleasure Way, they all have the shower behind the driver's seat on the Sprinters. All of the top names, all the big names, with showers now. That's what they're doing and stuff. Which Pleasure Way is basically the best van probably in the world.
Now, if you center that shower up more to the center of the front area, then you have the ability to put a drop-down table and a chair with a seat to the left of that. And you can have under storage that goes out to, you have a lot more flexibility to have a really nice additional seating area besides the bed in the back there. I think it's a really brilliant plan that allows you to put some more storage, more cabinetry, and as long as your shower curtain is good going around, you're not going to leak any water to the external there. So here's the rest of the things. Let's assume that you wanted that, but that rubberized flooring, that subfloor has to be good. You can't just put that over a grooved.
Well, the subfloor right now is just some existing Luan that's been bolted down to the floor from Coachman. It's just about a half-inch Luan is all it is.
Yeah, the Luan has to be pulled. I mean, this baby has to be right down to the nuts. It's got to be right down there, and then you have to put down a masonite, a waterproof masonite, and then put the rubberized finish on top of the plywood. Well, you already have plywood. You already have marine plywood there. You can just roll that rubber right over top of that marine plywood with no problem at all, and your pan drops. It's already dropped below. It's already plumbed in and all that. It's already good to go. Okay, you got a great.
If you think about what you're doing, what we're doing here with the floor, you're actually waterproofing. Not only put in the shower, but by putting the rubber floor, you're eliminating mold and you're waterproofing the floor.
Exactly, especially when you spend so much time in Florida. It's disgusting to think about the humidity and the moisture.
Exactly.
So once all that rubber, though, it's going to be a floating rubber floor. It all has to be secured with perimeter strips to hold that down. And also that shower pan lid has to be fitted down so it has a flange that comes over the side that sits down flat on that. Right. As possible. Okay.
What type of material would the shower cover would the shower pan be? Would it be bamboo wood, or what would it be with? as far as the to cover the shower pan?
That would be a piece of marine plywood with the rubberized membrane on it, with a handle that's built, a pull handle ring that's built into.
All right, that sounds good. Yeah.
Yep, and then you would have stainless steel mitered trim around that, so it wouldn't wear at the edges of the rubber, and it would go down there flat. So then you could build like a bench seat. Now the generator's gone, the box is gone, the whole damn thing is gone. Now you have room to put a bench seat and a drop-down table top that can come down. Now you have a work area, computer area, area there for all exactly that.
So, but the only thing left would be the you have the junction box there for the generator. You have also the fuse panel. The converter is right there. That would have to be all built into that bench seat, right?
Exactly.
Right there.
Exactly. That AB switch, the switching has to be seamless. So when you go outside, you plug in all you have to do is pull the cord for your female for the cord for the generator, plug it in, and you're good to go.
Okay, so with the cord, you keep there's two ways to do this. Do you keep the existing cord where you pull out, or you actually put a 30 amp outlet on the outside where you plug it in?
Remember, you're gonna have both. You're gonna have a 30 amp that's gonna go to that switch for external shore power. That's already there. Okay. Now you're gonna add an additional through haul fitting for a 120, so that your generator, there's a female connection on there. All you have to do is, plug your generator into that female connection, and it makes
the newer camper vans, like Mr. X's. They don't have the cord that pulls out like mine. They actually have the actual outlet, the 30 amp outlet, where you take your cord and you plug it in from the outside, and that way it's that's what the newer Class B's have.
Yeah. Nowadays, okay. So yeah, then I would turn to the extra. I make sure that there was a new smaller suit built in there. It would be nicely upholstered with the royal blue or whatever, the backrest, and that seat. You could actually lift the seat. Would have all access to your distribution panel for the electrical, and all that would be contained within that. You would also have the AB switch in there between shore and your external generator.
Well, would you make that seat where it's facing where it's like the jackknife sofa, or where it's facing the shower? In other words, it
would be a two-corner seat, so you could sit facing the sink, or you could also sit facing forward with a drop-down table that comes down from this, or a lift-up table from the side that swings up. Okay. Really easy. And then I would address the engine and the fuel system needs a clean. Seafoam should be used right now, actually, through all of your systems every time.
Let me ask you this real quick before you go on. The jump seat that you build, I'd be able to use it where I could sit facing forward on the rig, and also
that's what I'm saying. You have the ability to face forward, because remember, you don't even see the shower assembly right there. All you see is the curtain. It's just pushed to the side and secured with a strap right there, and then the shower thing just hangs on the wall right there, and it's only used when you go into the shower.
Basically, it's a square jump seat where you can put the cushion where you can face your kitchen, or you can face the front.
Well, it's just a built-in. I don't know about jump seat, but you can either face forward and pull the table up and sit there, or you can sit facing the kitchen and use you could even spec in so that your existing table goes right down through the floor with covers that you want to put your table that the coachman has, the two floor things.
Actually, what I want to do is I want to sit facing forward, because I want it to replicate like I'm in my home. I want to be able to open a side window and then instead of facing the kitchen, face forward and look out the window to the left side. All right,
let me see what Narce is calling me. He wants to come on the panel here. Let me just finish. I don't want to talk to him.
I don't want to interact with him.
I'm just trying to have a nice chat tonight. I don't want to, another.
I just came on here for the van build. I don't want to interact with him.
Narce, I love you. I just don't want to be in the Jerry Springer show in here.
I don't want to interact with him or the Bergs or nothing. I just came on here for the Lisa Marie build, and that's the only.
Now, John said John works on engines. He's got guy lives. Cobra John said, Rosie, may I chime in before the seafoam stuff? Go ahead, John. If there's something he knows about, he's a mechanic and everything else. Let me see what he has to say on here. Let me see what he thinks on that.
How many people do we have watching now?
228 people on here.
Okay, cool.
I'd like to think some people are interested in the van build. I love my nephew Narse, but I just don't want to have I don't want to be that, Jerry. I've had a real good thing so far. So let's see what he has to say here. Cobra John. Seafoam. I've seen the amazing in my own rig. Seafoam just did such a wonderful job on that. It's it took my lawnmower carburation system, which was a mess, and just made that clean as a whistle. Okay, he says you can use a sprayer with water and have the same results. So
are you pretty much done with the interior now? You're moving on out of the interior?
I'm moving away to the external right here now. So I need the engine has got, if I'm doing it, the engine needs to be tuned up. All the fluids, the transmission filter, all new fluids have to be put out. The rear differential has to be drained. All new fluids put in there. The U-bolt, the propeller shaft has to be, everything has to be lubricated there with the appropriate greases through the fittings. I don't think you've done that with those needle bearings and things on that propeller. That propeller shaft the drive shaft gone down.
I was also told that, I don't know if that's it, but the flywheel that goes round and around is kind of a little bit, it's not smooth. I was told by a mechanic to replace that a while back.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure it's 77,000 miles. I'd have to, sometimes you can put, Marshall, you can put a little, you can put a Murray clamp on that, a hose clamp, and that gives you enough of a rebalance that it takes away that shimmy on there. And
what about adding a second, I talked about this before, adding a second auxiliary battery, and there's a room to put that on the fender on the driver's side, and then having two auxiliary batteries, because now I'm only running one. With Coachman, only put one in.
Well, why do you feel the need for a second external battery? You already have
I don't think that if you're gonna run the furnace and run the fan on the furnace, that one battery can handle it. That's a problem.
Okay.
The furnace fan cannot.
The nice thing, Marshall, you can build a secure metal box underneath of the bed. You can actually double the size of the existing battery box by bringing that in and doubling the storage of that, and still make it safe.
That's what I was gonna tell you about. I could. What do you think about cutting the existing battery box that's already there and adding a second battery there, just in the back? That would be much more.
That's what I'm saying. Put that on there, and then enlarge the size of the battery box to put in there. Narse, I'm just, I love you, but I'm just saying I want to keep this. I want to keep this chat.
I just want to, like I said, I just came on here for the Lisa Marie build. I don't want to interact with him or Bergs or anybody else. I just wanted to come on here and talk about.
If it comes on there, then it's a Jerry Springer type of event, and God forbid.
You want to have him on? That's when I leave. That you could do whatever you want, but I don't. I choose not to. I've already said my piece, and I don't. I've already said what I believe. That I'm ready to move on, and I have nothing to say and stuff. I've got more important things to worry about, and that's my rig.
Okay.
The Lisa Marine stuff. So
now the other thing I would do is clean and reseal all the windows with the Artec caulking. That's that black caulking. You got to remove all of that existing funky seal around all of that stuff, and you need to put the more what do they call it, RV Tech or whatever, that that black sealer on there does a really excellent job. All those windows need to be resealed. They should actually each one of them should be removed, and then they should all be cleaned. The channel
So you're talking about the 3 slider windows and the plexiglass that they actually need to have sealant underneath them for waterproofing?
Yeah, all the tracks and things should be sealed at the edge, and all the windows should be assessed for individual sealing and making sure they're good. You have to
also, you mentioned the rubber gaskets need to be replaced on all of them, right?
All the gasketing and material needs to be replaced.
Okay. One thing that you mentioned about the black, it's called actually it's called urethane, because I used to work in the windshield business with my family, and when they put the windshield down, they would put this black urethane, and that's what you're talking about. That helps the seal.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think they call it R-Tech caulking. It's like
that's what we call it. Well, it's urethane. Urethane.
Yeah, it does a really good job. You need to also reseal all the stacks and all the through hull fittings on the whole rig. All the water tank cover, all the external fill things have to be removed. They all have to be freshly sealed again for weatherproofing on that. Okay.
Right.
Then you need to compound and buff all the exterior surfaces. You need to have rubbing compound, and you need to have a buffer, and you need to buff out the whole You need to buff out. The first thing you got to do is the repair of some of the unsightly damage that's been done with some of the damage that's been done. Then compound that, and then use the buffer and buff that out. Then once that's done, you want to repaint. You want to use tape, and you want to tape off the big sheets of table paper.
Right.
Cover off the stripes, the sides of the stripes, being very carefully. Get them sanded slightly so that they have a little bit of tooth to them to accept a spray paint, not a paintbrush.
Right.
Don't ever use a paintbrush on an automobile, okay?
That was, for the record, that was Chris Diamond's and his girlfriend's Evelyn's idea, but I don't think it looks good, but I do agree with you.
Yeah, so you put that on there and you buff that out. Actually, you put that on, you do the paint, you let that set real good. You're in a real dry place when you get that done, a low humidity kind of week. That dries really, really beautiful, and you pull that off, and you have beautiful new striping against a high buff finish on all of the surfaces.
What about just the option of just removing the stripes, like a lot of people do on YouTube? I wouldn't
remove the stripes, because the stripes are what really adds the detail and beauty to that ring, Marshall. Okay. And you can go right over top of those stripes and make them really, 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 really first class looking. Almost like it came off of the factory floor at the Coachman factory and rolled off there. Then you need to also obtain the new fashion wheel covers. They're not that expensive. The new stamped, chromed wheel covers for the.
I was actually thinking of just getting new 16-inch American racing wheels. You can get them from the junkyard for $50.
Well, I mean, in my own opinion, is racing wheels look kind of goofy on a camper van. That can.
What do you think about the Ford heavy duty F-250 wheels? Have you seen them on the Ford truck?
Yeah, I'm just saying, but I just think having anything with a racing motif on a rig that can barely do 70 miles an hour is kind of a. Okay. It might look cool.
What do you think about? Have you seen the aluminum rims on the F-250s that have the? They're actually aluminum, and they have the same cap. I mean, that I could go something. I've seen them in the junkyard for $50 a piece or something like that.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. A nice wheel cover on there. So when I then repair the exterior finish damage and touch up accordingly on that. Now, when that's done, I think that you have a first class rig. Now, how much did you cost if you're going to do the materials in that? If you're not hiring. Just the material ad cost, you're looking at about $1,500 to $1,800 for all.
Really, I don't know what it. The materials, $1,500 to $1,800. I mean, wood doesn't cost that much. Screws don't cost that much. The rubber floor is a couple $100. I don't see how it would be $1,500 to $1,800. I think that I could do it with $1,000. $1,000.
Okay, well, I've got your guideline, so go to it. And if you can do it under $1,000, more power to you. I've spec'd it in with all of the cabling, Remember, you need some pretty high voltage amperage cabling here. You need some new water piping. You need to have shower heads. There's all kinds of detailed things, fantastic fans. There's all kinds of things that get weighed in carefully into this price here. You know, it's not, if you could do it for $1,000, I would say that would be a miracle. I mean, more power to you. And then if you had to hire somebody, the labor would be about $3,500 for this. So all in, you'd be about $5,000 if it was going to be a restoration on that.
I just think that the only two I definitely think.
Thank you, Marce. I appreciate that. I just wanted to have a smooth hangout to do, you know, this type of just for James from Long Island. Gave me the idea. If I was to do that van, that's the way I would do that. You know,
can you show people the floor plan again on the screen just so they can see it, what it looks like?
Well, this is what you wanted to have. This is not, you know, what I would do, because the shower location has changed. Now, when you have this, this is your seats here. This is the passenger seat. This is the driver's seat. This is the dog house of the engine. You wanted to have the shower behind the driver's seat. Now I'm suggesting you can center that shower in the middle there with no big issue at all. You have enough clearance with the drive shaft down below. This is your seat area, and now you don't necessarily need the storage. You can sit forward. You can sit forward on the seat or sideways. You've got your water tank in the back, your toilet that goes underneath, and your new. This is a much bigger bed that goes to the wall. You have storage on the side, and then you have the sink back here. You have upper storage on there. Now, with a raised floor, you can put that shower basically anywhere you want. It can be back in the middle of the aisle. I mean, you have a lot more flexibility.
Right. I think that, you know, it could be done with keeping.
Thank you, East Coast lady.
It could be done with keeping the generator or not keeping it, but now
that does not include. That's taking the existing generator and fixing the existing generator with a potentially new flight systems board in there, and using existence. That's not procuring a 2200 Honda generator to put on that put on. So it's worth bearing that in mind. There's a big difference. So I'm going to, having gone over this now, I'm going to open up the side chat here. And
I think, yeah, I mean, I just like to see what people think and say, but I think the coolest thing about it would be to put the shower in and to put the shower in, like you say, having a bed that would that you'd be able to a little bit more storage under the bed, and then really waterproofing the floor.
Yeah,
on the inside.
I appreciate it. Mr. Market Basket said, sell the rig and buy lottery scratch tickets. On here, I'm not sure how much is invested. If somebody came to me and said, you got 2 weeks to do this build job, that's the way it would be done. That's exactly the way it would be done. I would raise the floor. I would procure all the material ahead of time, and then have the van come in and do the work, and then that'd be about a 2-week period to do all that. A gravity shower could work. I just like the traditional. Thank you, Marie. It's just a thought on that. If I was doing that, that's kind of the way that I would do that. So I think about Chick. I don't know whether I'm just doing a theoretical thing for interest's sake and talking to Marshall about the things that I'm just curious about how he would gravitate to that idea of the raised flooring in there and taking that shower and putting it at floor level. So Susie says, please don't be pissed, but it's better to scrap. Blue Book is under 3,000. Actually, this is a fantasy chat. Out here in California,
I look at it this way. When you look at, if anybody knows anything about vans, a cargo van just by itself, if you were to want to put a top on there could be $4,000 to $6,000 just for the top. And people don't realize this because they're just not educated on vans, that the top itself is worth $5,000. $4,000 to $6,000. If you buy a cargo van to put a top on there, that's how much it costs. And I don't think people just realize they're so uneducated when it comes to the value of these vans and stuff, that I have a van here that already has a top, and the top itself is worth more than the van itself. And I don't think people realize that, how expensive these
said, Elvis, you should sell the Lisa Marie and buy the Priscilla. You know, I don't think the Priscilla is for sale there. That's your cousin's. Your cousin's got the Priscilla.
For my situation and what I'm in, it's much. It's the only realistic thing to do is to fix what I have. Everything is paid off and stuff.
No, Elf, I love you, honey. You're funny. How can I ignore you? How can I ignore you?
People say a lot of things that I disagree with when they say $3,000 van, and they don't realize just to get a top put on a cargo van is $4,000 to $6,000, and that's the kind of top without a bunk, without being finished, and without windows. So could you imagine if you were to get a top comparable to mine?
I think a Coachman that was renovated. The thing that's the real key that you guys don't take into consideration in considering the rig. And I mean, the rig is worn. Let's face it, somebody's lived in it for 3 years. But the thing you're not considering is this mileage is still relatively low on this Windsor engine. You're talking about a legendary bulletproof Windsor engine, the V8 there. That's really the flagship of Ford Motor Company. It's legendary. It's bulletproof. It only has 77,000 miles on it. If you look at rigs out here, they're pushing rigs 125,000 for like $12,000 bucks. So I think if the work was put into this, you probably would never want to sell it. You would probably want to continue. I would think that you would never part with it for 5 years. I don't think there's any way you would ever sell a rig like that. But I'm just saying, when it's all complete, it's like your dream rig. But then the rig would be worth about 12 to 15,000 at that point with the mileage. So no, I don't think it's taken care of. I'm not sure about the engine state. That engine needs a lot of attention. As yet, I haven't really figured out. There's some variables, plus or minus, $1,000 on this, but I figured an honest estimate. That's probably what it would take. The materials, there's no getting around the $1,500. I don't really care what Marshall says. I'm going to stick to the $1,500 and say that ends up being a spot on figure for the when you think of all the fitting and all the through holes, the wiring, the electrical, the good electrical connections, the inboard, outboard connections, the bracketing.
Then you would have something that you can say, this is truly, I can truly live in it, and I'm truly fully self-contained, and I'm truly happy with it. And it would be,
Yeah. How you doing, sweetheart? I mean, to me, it would be like a dream rig. If I had the 88 Coachman and it had these things, I never would have let it go. I had a shower that I couldn't step into because it was cracked. I just pulled the son of a bitch and put additional cabinetry back there. It was useless as tits on a bull. I did keep the toilet because I don't want to crap into a bucket or something like that. I did keep the toilet. But for me, it would be a dream rig to have a composting toilet, have a huge bed in the back. How you doing, Fred? How you doing, Just Jody? Nice to see you.
It's actually a perfect design because you have a composting toilet and you don't have to worry about looking for a dump station because they're impossible to find in any area, even an urban area. You're fully self-contained with your shower. You've already waterproofed the floor where don't have to worry about mold and all that kind of stuff, which is important to waterproof the floor and stuff.
Oh, that's fun, Rock Island van, man. Then you have something
and could be
Well,
used for everyday living use.
didn't you have greater pride in yours, Rosie, because it was your money's and sweat? Honey, Ginger, I wanted my rig to look sparkling. And when I sold my rig, when the guy that came and saw that, he reached out to me on YouTube and he told me, I want to buy that camper van. He walked around the corner. I had it strategically parked for marketing purposes. When you walk to the back lot of the rig, you walk around the fence. And I watched his face when he came around the corner, and that thing was gleaming in the sunlight there to a high shine. And this guy's mouth just dropped. And he said, and the only thing he said, let's go to the bank now and we'll get the cash and do the deal. And an hour later, that guy rode out with that rig. He could not believe the condition. Why didn't I keep it? I didn't feel comfortable. I wanted to get something newer. I'm not big. I'm not comfortable driving rigs. I always had my eye on like a road trek or something like that. And I always dreamed of the day I would have a better one. But you better believe I went to a shop. I had the Portuguese tailor, the Portuguese upholstery guy. You can see all the videos. He reupholstered the upper cushions for the upper deck. I mean, it was beautiful, man. The finish on that. Marshall, that was a nice looking rig, wasn't it? When I was done that job,
it was nice, and you could have did whatever you wanted with it. And like I said, people think about it. You have a van that's 19, almost 20 feet long. You can stand up in the van, and you can make whatever you want of the space out of it. You can park the van anywhere. It's kind of like people don't understand that there's a big difference between a Class B and a conversion van. This is a vehicle that you can stand up in. This is a vehicle that you can actually put a lot of storage in for one person. This is a vehicle that if you wanted, you can sleep two people. It all depends on how you build the bed. It's so versatile with 20 feet, with the 20 feet and the height, that, people just don't understand until you walk into one.
Yeah, until you walk in. I almost doubled the money. I guess it was kind of a sucker. Reason being was, for me, if somebody offers you something, I've flipped a lot of vehicles and stuff in my life, and I was just tempted at that moment when the guy reached out to me, and I just thought, oh, what the heck? Okay, I'll just take the money and move on. Jimmy
and at this point, Rosie, with a rig from that,
you said, let's see the stats: 120 thumbs down to 35. Jimmy, I've never in my life on YouTube ever took the thumbs up.
Rosie, if you think about it, with a 1989 rig, it's already went through its full cycle of depreciation. Right now, it's a classic vehicle, so really, it really doesn't matter what you do to it. It's not something where you say this is resale value like it's a new car and you're going to resell it, put it back on the market. This is a classic vehicle that's a custom vehicle, and if you make it and suit it to your needs in the long run, it's actually going to be more profitable for you in your pocket.
Let me see. Well, I want to address Mr. Market Basket said, did the sagging rear end get addressed in the final total? I never really, I'm going to put a thumbnail up after this video of me standing in the Lisa Marie, and I was there in March. I never saw a sag.
I do believe there's a sag on the rear end, and it's because it doesn't have enough leaf springs. I think that the leaf springs, Coast 9500 had his first van, Dino 1, and it had extra leaf springs, and that will help bring up the rig. It actually, in my opinion, there's not enough leaf springs. It needs to add 2 or 3 more leaf springs on the back to bring it up to more of a level height.
Okay.
So that's the issue with stuff. I don't think that Ford or Coachman put enough leaf springs. So it does kind of, it's not.
Yeah, I guess Mallory says that's why I wanted Elvis to hitch a generator to the front so that I would level out the van out. The thing for maximum use, Mallory, having lived in one of these things, is isolate that generator from the rig. In other words, you can take a little noise, but the vibration and stuff is the drag when you have these micro light, even a micro light if you can put that outside the rig, then you have no vibration. You do have, these things are pretty quiet. If you mount that on the front, you're still basically connected with the vibrations are still going to be transmitted. You could carry it there and run it from that position, move it off of there, but you have to chain it because, you know, people take these, they take these things. So, you know, so we can add.
Well, nobody's ever done this. What do you think about moving the Onan generator to the front or to the back and actually putting the Onan? And nobody's ever done this. They did it with Hondas, but why can't I just use the Onan? I can still have it plumb to the gas tank with a
let me tell you why. Because now you start to have what's called at that point you have what's called a cantilever effect on the back. Now remember, at this point in time, you now have a water tank that's under your jungle room bed back there. Right. You put that Onan generator cantilever. In other words, there's no van underneath of that. That thing is just on a luggage rack type thing on the
right.
Now you're having a leverage effect where the weight of that is somewhat multiplied by the distance from the center of gravity on the rig from front to back. So that's really, I think, going to create a lot. I don't think the rear suspension would be able to handle that, Marshall, to tell you the truth on that. I'm not sure if it would be able to handle that leverage cantilever.
You have all the weight in the front, so it's better to put the generator up front.
Actually, like Mallory, it's actually better if you're going to have an external mount. It's actually better to have a front mount on that. It kind of levels it out just for carrying, and then you can pull it out if you have to and sit it on the ground and chain it. So good night, Mr. Z. Nice to see you. Thanks for being along. Be sure to count for the extra 35 pounds. Marshall adds. Well, I gave you some ideas tonight, you know, and
what do you think about with putting the Onan in the front, but instead of hooking it up to the existing fuel tank on the rig, actually putting a small fuel tank and a custom box where it would cover the generator and be vented, but also have its own fuel supply up front and not have to worry about plumbing it into the front tank like it is now? Isn't that a better idea?
I think it'd be too dangerous to have that. It's a secondary bomb on that rig. I hate to say that. I'd rather have the tap feed off of that tank than to have another gas tank on that. Better to have an external. Better to have a gas tank. Better to have a gas that just gets fed off a 5-gallon.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Do people have any suggestions or comments? Is anybody saying anything?
Yeah,
or is it just...
You know, some people think it's a good idea. They're concerned about the money. Prepping said you have to watch out blocking the radiator for cooling. Very true. Very good point there. So yeah, there's a lot of considerations for.
I just think going with the portable one is so much more simple and easy. A portable one with a
comment, Elf. Let me go up and read your comment here, honey. Hold on a minute. Let me see. Elf, I think I missed. Elf says on the next episode of Pimp My Shit Wagon. Is that one? Jeez. Was that it? Was that the one? I don't know. I guess that was it. Okay. Well, anyway, I read your message. Oh, that's all right, Ginger. This was just something I took as a challenge.
Rosie, one quick question. I've seen on some Hangouts that are uploaded with the live chat that some people are activating actual comments, that you can actually put comments outside of the live chat. Are you aware of that? I've seen, like, when this is uploaded to your channel and stuff, I've seen sometimes, and I don't know how this happens, but there can be comments made on a live Hangout after it's pre-recorded, but kind of like how you do it like on your videos. Like, have you seen that happen, or
no?
No, you haven't.
Thank you, Mike. I've just seen once a chat. Once you go off, there's a 5 to 10 minute period where you have after comment and then it starts processing and it cuts off the comments. Now, the only thing I've seen at that point is you can put comments in the comment section down below. So that's the only real thing I know on there. So,
Right.
yeah, Mike Moore said, Rosie, this was fun. I love this stuff. I love the build outs and things. And I think my cost, Elf, you're wonderful. I think my price is exactly spot on, Marshall. You know, if you have somebody that's willing to do the work and put the time in, I think $1,500 is, you know, reasonable for the material.
If this was done and if we were to do this, I would never sell the rig. I would be so
there's no way you'd ever part with the rig because you only have 77,000 miles on the rig. See, this is the thing. The engine and drivetrain is what makes it's what makes it worthwhile to make the investment. If you came to me and said, my rig, Rosie, has 155,000 miles on it, I would tell you, just wear it right down to the nuts. Don't do a damn thing with it. And when it finally gives up the ghost one day, you know, push it off, part it out, or let it go. But since it only has 77,000 miles on it,
I just, you know what it is, Rosie? It's kind of like a lot of people come up and look at the van and they want to see the inside of it. And if we were to do this, do you know how proud I would be to open up my doors and show people what the Lisa Marie like it was, but what it is now, and just it would bring because a lot of people want to always come inside and look in the van. They're curious to see what it's like, and if I did it the way that I always wanted to do it, it would be it'd be amazing to see people what people think about it.
They would. Most people that know Coachmans of those eras are popular. They would come inside and believe that they would believe that you had a custom contract with Coachman to build out your own spec van.
I think what my point is, a lot of people come up and they want to look inside of the van, but they have no idea what.
Let me address. Driver says, Rosie, how are you taking care of the engine and transmission? Well, you know, these transmissions are pretty nice transmissions here. Like I said, I would start running seafoam through the engine because it's going to keep everything all tip-top shape up there. 1 can every other fill, 2 cans every other fill, 1 in each tank. You're talking about $20 every twice. Every other time you fill up, just throw it in, and you'll have a system that's whistle clean there.
The only oil leak that I have that I know of on the rig is the rear main oil seal, the rear main gasket that's between the engine and transmission, and it's a very slow leak, very slow leak and stuff. But
what did you say? There's a slow leak where?
Well, there's a slow leak I believe by the rear main seal between the engine and transmission. There's a rubber gasket there.
Yeah, that's not unusual for Fords to have a slight bit of leakage on that rear engine seal at that point. As long as your levels don't go low and you're maintaining your oil level. Mallory says I could use a patio makeover. Another sheet of paper. See, Mallory, you could design a better patio home than I could ever do. But having lived in one of these rigs, I think it's very interesting that I could think a little bit about the practicalities. I could think about raising the floor a little bit. That entails raising mounting a new 12-volt refrigerator on top of, there's a lot of things that you could do. I'm not sure if I'd pull the transmission away there. I'm not sure if I'd you might just be able to break the bell housing. I don't know. You have to, it's special. Now you're looking at a $400 to $500 job to replace that rear seal on that. I'm not sure. You've got to put that up on the shop, up on the lift. You have to break the transmission away. You have to have a separate transmission holder to pull that away. You got to be able to remove the rear seal without damaging a lot of stuff, which some shops have damaged that rear seal, and then mount and pound in a new rear seal and then close it up. You're talking about a $500 job on on that. So, you know. Yeah, Diesel said you can pull the pan and fish the seal out, but it sucks. That's what I mean. I've seen people do more damage than not. What kind of paint? What does that mean, Julie? What kind of paint? What does that mean? Susie said 4 to 5 grand total, not worth it. That's if he had to pay somebody to restore that. Yeah, you'd have to drop the pan, of course. You need to punch out that seal. Yep.
I think that when we're talking about custom work inside of the rig, we're not talking engine work. We're just talking custom work inside of the rig. You realize that there's companies that do this kind of work and they charge starting off $10,000. There's a company in
paint
Florida.
Drop, honey. Julie, you know what? I just fell in love with you because for me, the Chrysler 300 is the ultimate pimp mobile, honey. I would so love to have, I'm thinking about buying a Chrysler 300 jet black on that with a high mirror finish. Honey, you'd be the cat's meow riding down the street with that. I'd have a jet black, high gloss finish on that. I mean, that car would look like you take that baby to Oakland and they'll be slobbering on the hood of that thing. They'll just think, woo, yeah, Cadillac DeVille, man. Cadillac DeVille. Yep.
I gotta say, Rosie, that the only thing left to do on the rig after we did all this to really make it bling out would be basically new rims and a new paint job.
Well, I don't even know if it needs a new paint job, Marshall.
It's not bad. It's fine,
it's got to be lightly compounded, and it's got to be buffed out, and it's got to be maybe top coated with something. That's I don't know if I'd put spin or rip.
Like, you mean it needs to have a spray of clear coat on there?
Well, I'm not sure. Now you're really adding to the expense, you know.
Right.
I don't like to do that. I just like to very gingerly buff out, you know, take that, use a little compound to clear the oxidation, then just buff it out. You know, it looked good with reseal on the windows. It would look damn good, you know. Yeah, this is just entertainment on here tonight, but it does give an idea maybe for something Marshall to point towards and you know, okay, send me a picture, honey. I'd love to see that. I'd absolutely love to see that. Funky says F off, you know. I think it's
how many people we got watching now? Is it still
220 people watching?
Okay.
So cool. People definitely been interested in the I mean, I love the like Coach said, I like the Seville. I like the Brome, Coupe de Ville, all of those classic Cadillacs, man. They're just with the light fins, trying to get Elvis to lower. You can't clear coat that. There's no way you're going to be able to afford to clear coat that rig. It's like Junker said, you pay $6,000 to paint. That's a big rig. That's a lot of paint on that. So let's see, when the main seal goes, you won't be able to keep oil in the thing. Of course, Mikey.
Well, the rear main seal, it's a very small leak. It's very small. It is leaking, but it is a very small leak. And it's not an issue yet, but I'm sure.
I don't know. You get a job to make the dream a reality. I guess that's what Diesel Twin Turbo said. You like ragtops. Well, him working is not, you know, I'm here for content and to provide content for people. This was great content for people that want to think about vans. His job and his money situation is his concern. Honestly, on here, I've now put that in my past. I will not be concerned with that issue. And, you know, you want to come on the panel if we have a nice calm chat and we have, you know, I feel like this is a productive chat tonight because it got Marshall thinking about the possibilities that he may not have thought about before on doing the rig. And it's really the materials. Thank you, Rhode Island Bandman. The materials are not that much, but at least you can put that in your mind and you can think to yourself, how am I going to achieve at least getting that material bill paid for, something like that. So He should be an RV salesman. I know he should be, Gummy Bear. I've said that for 3 years. His aptitude for selling Class Bs and his ability to talk to people because he lived in it for years would be a good thing. That's a trans seal, I believe, on that.
Yeah, it's a transmission.
I don't think it's the oil.
It's the seal between where the transmission mounts to the engine.
Yeah, I don't think it's a pan. I don't think it's a pan gasket. I feel quite.
It's not the pan gasket. It's a round seal that goes between where the transmission mounts to the engine.
Yeah, so I think maybe a fantasy chat like this will lead him. I don't know. You know, I can't say, but it's not my responsibility to make the funding happy. Like I said, I love to do that kind of work, but financially, not my ballywick at this point in time. I got to do my own. I got to do my own. You know, I got to get my own rig. That's the important thing. So I do help all Jimmy. I have a track record that I would put against anybody else here on YouTube, period. So I don't think you've probably done anything. So thank you, Gummy Bear. I appreciate that. So that's the end. It's not my worry. I use YouTube for entertainment. I don't consider it as a social, psychological platform for solving the world's problems. For me, it's making content and having fun here on a daily basis. That's moving ahead in 2019. Yeah, YouTube ain't real. That's right. Yeah, front crank seal is a walking about. I'm not sure market basket. I've done some reed seals. As long as you punch them out properly from the front, they're good. Well, if anybody hates on it, I'm sorry. That's their doing. I'm not equipped to get into. I've already been through the whole smear campaign, the whole family thing. I'm here to have fun, so you can take your hate elsewhere on here. Thank you, Pecan Baby. I appreciate it. I'll be back in 1 minute, Marshall.
All right.
Marshall, let me ask you this. What about the refrigerator? What were you thinking for refrigeration now?
Well, I just thought, because like I'm saying, first of all, the refrigerator being where it's at, it's making the bed smaller than what I originally wanted it. And that's why I thought about repositioning the refrigerator underneath the stove and that cabinet there, and having a smaller refrigerator, because number one, it's taking up a lot of space in the coach, and it's taking up the bed space that I wanted, a larger bed. And second of all, the propane fridge does not work good with it. Only works with the ambient temperature. So
what do you want to put in, a 12-volt dorm fridge or something like that?
Yeah, I would put a I would probably just go with I would eliminate the fridge and then make the bed bigger, make it come up all the way to the kitchen counter like I originally wanted, and I would go with the angle the angle fridge that would go under the bed. So I'd have the fridge under the bed and the toilet under the bed, and I'd have the angle fridge where you could actually take the fridge out and access your fridge when you're cooking outside, because I like to cook outside. I don't want to cook inside of the rig.
Yeah, wait a minute, because Mr. Market Basket has an excellent point. Everything is too small You can't have it all when you have a class. You know, if you want that, you buy a Class C. I agree. I think a Dometic fridge. I think to continue to use a propane unit. I don't agree with the temperature. I don't agree with the temperature thing in the warmer climates. I think a proper fridge should work very fine in that particular. I haven't heard anybody with any issues. Maybe yours.
Well, the problem is the if you want the fridge to work better, you have to put 12-volt fans in the refrigerator compartment and force the hot air through the outside of the vents. It doesn't vent properly, vent good enough for it to work in hot temperatures. It's useless in hot temperatures.
Well, they also, king of all things, Coach said Chris Diamond could have given you some insight on aligning his rig too. So once you have that base floor built, then you have a lot of. Let me fix this camera. Hold on a minute. Oh, there we go. There you go.
I think just what I'm saying is I think that getting rid of the propane fridge will give me the bigger bed that I always wanted, but it also, I like to cook outside. So if you have the angle fridge that works on 12 volts, you could always take it outside. You could always have it hooked up to the with an extension cord and have it on your inverter. And when you're cooking outside, you have your fridge outside with you and you can access it. And when you're done, you put it underneath the bed. That way you get a bigger bed and you just put it under your bed and it's out of the way with the toilet. And then you have, you'll have your solar and your batteries and your inverter and stuff. And that's just a better way to do in the long run and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Marshall. I can't see you humping a refrigerator in and out when you cook out. So I'm sorry. I think you might do that 2 times, and it's going to stay put. That's just my guess. It's not that big a deal to get something out of the fridge and then, just take it outside to cook it on a little fold-up table. That's just my thought. I think I would, if I was doing what you said, and I had to take a fridge outside every time I would, after the second time, I'd be like, that fridge is staying put. I'm not hauling it out again. So, but that's just my thought. That's just me. Yeah, Jack, the money adds up. The money definitely adds up. At any time you talk about the money, you got to keep it simple. How you doing, Helen?
But I think like I said, the coolest thing about it would be obviously the shower, the waterproofing, raising the floor, that, and then basically just creating that space for a little dinette thing, and that would make a big difference with.
Well, I think it's the best idea. I mean, that is realistic, Mr. Market. I agree. You're not going to drag out that fridge. I agree. That thing has to be done. Has to be permanently mounted. Mikey Mike says my RV fridge works fine in Florida summertime. So I just think it's, I think the unit just might be the unit.
Well, what's nice about the chest style fridge, you can always put it in a cabinet and have it where it rolls in and out, and you just open it and you access. You have the ability where you put it on a slider, and I've seen American Renegade do this. He got rid of his fridge and he put the angle and you just you back in and out.
Yeah, I know. I agree, Rhode Island Van Man. The building materials are astronomical now. I don't think Marshall has been to a supply store to see what they charge for basic materials these days. Marshall, what some people have, and I might suggest, on boats, they have Dometic refrigerators and freezers that are 12-volt systems that are kind of portable. They're probably pricey though, but you better spec in some more money for decent refrigeration. That's for sure. So I don't think you can recharge those. Let's see. Narse said, "I'm willing to make Elvis an offer he can't refuse. If you'll be willing to let me come on, no yell."
No, I do not. I already said everything that I wanted to say. Okay. I am not going to interact with him.
All right. I'm going to head. Okay. Yeah. Well, I took my time to put this thing together. He has an offer of peace he wants to make. I have full confidence in him. He's never messed me up if he has an offer of peace. I don't know. It's your call. So I would love to see peace between you. I really would. You guys have so much history and so much joy and so much good history behind you of travel and the stories that you guys tell. But I'm not pushing anybody. I don't want a Jerry Springer show. So it's ultimately up to you. So I will defer. And you know, if he has a peace offering, I'd like to hear it. But I'm not here to set up people on the panel. So it's up to you, Marshall.
No, I'm just here to talk about the rig, and that's it. But that's all I wanted to come on and talk about. And I think that, like I said, anybody that knows anything about vans and camper vans, they know how expensive they are. And one thing, you can say whatever you want about the Lisa Marie, but this is the 4th year coming to Florida from Chicago. I've been all over this country almost with this rig, and the rig's paid off, and I own it, and it's my home, and I'm happy with it, and I'm happy with. All I want to say is my dad taught me one thing. You know, he said, never pay payments on something, buy it in cash and own it.
All
and
right.
That's what I feel good about. And ownership.
Well, Narse, what I'm going to do when Elvis goes off, I am going to send you a link. I do want you to make your peace offer if you're going to make one. He may watch the end of this tomorrow and then respond accordingly. So, Marshall, all I can say is I did take this as kind of a challenge to enjoy putting this package together. So I hope you appreciate that. I did try to get my imagination going a little bit to do something that would be a little out of the extraordinary. I hope you do appreciate it. It was fun for me.
No, I appreciate it, and you were really thorough, and I know that you're really handy, and it's fun, and you know it's you know. No, I appreciate it, and I think it was a cool hangout. I enjoyed it, and I think a lot of people out there in the long run will enjoy it. But I just think that when people, I just want to say this in closing, when people talk about these vans and how much they're worth, it really just offends me that how uneducated they are about Class B motorhomes and all that they don't really know how much they're worth and
well,
stuff like that.
Narse, I vote peace, and I want you to be able to put your proposition out here, but I cannot force somebody to just sit here and listen, you know. So that's why I don't want to have a Jerry Springer show on here. I want to respect people on the panel. Tonight was a very calm, very smooth.
Does anybody else have any questions about this van build? Anybody? And is anybody asking anything? Do they have any questions?
Anybody else have any questions about the van build before I have Marshall's going to head out for the night?
I'm curious. Any comments, suggestions, questions?
Any other comments or suggestions on the van build? I think it's got a lot of hey Snickerdoodle. I think it's got a lot of potential for a one-of-a-kind van, Marshall, on a pretty damn good platform. How long would it take to build? This would be a 2-week process. This would be 2 weeks of effort to build out this, provided Bully says he wants to buy the old bed from the jungle room, provided every bit of material is already in place. Okay, all the material, a whole material list has to be put together. Thank you, Keith. You need to have a thorough material list already in place so there's no scrambling. That's what really kills the time when you got to stop 4 times a day.
I have a hard time believing that you're saying it's $1,500 to $1,800 for the materials to do. I just can't see that it's $1,500, $1,800. But
nobody ever can, Marshall, when it comes to building materials and stuff. So. Yeah, send me a list. A little truck said, send me. Little truck, you're a hoot. So any final words, Marshall, or anything tonight?
Yeah. My final words are just about the van build is that I thank God for what I have, because there's a lot of people that don't have anything. I thank God that I own my rig, that I don't owe anything on it. I thank God that has been good to me. And I thank God for everybody that's been kind to me and positive. And I just have to look forward. But what we're seeing for 2019 here is, I thought people were moving into the positive direction. But what it's been looking like here today and in the past few days, that 2019 is going to be just as bad as 2018, if not even worse. And I just want to say, I pray for peace in the world. I pray for peace on the bottom of YouTube, and may the love and peace and harmony of the Assyrian God Ashur and Jesus Christ be upon each and every one of you. Amen. And that's all I have to say.
Well, I'm glad tonight I found out that you're Catholic, so that's a good thing. So good night, Marshall. Thanks for being on. And yeah, think about things, and it might give you some direction for for making that happen. Make your dream come true. Thanks for being on.
And thank you for having me on. Woo!
Yep. Woo! There we go. All right. There he goes. Okay, there goes. And let me get Narse on here. How did that thing go? There he is. Okay, I've put you on there, Narse. The invitation has been posted. You are good to go. And come on. I'm going to get myself my final drink for the night. I know you got the shit you got to do tomorrow.
Hello.
Yeah, 1 second, Narse.
I wish I could read the side chat, but I can't. I don't know how to do that. So.
Yeah, Narse, just give me 1 second, okay?
Okay. Oh no, I can't actually read the side chat. I have to go on the. Okay. Here.
I'm gonna have one little nightcap. I know you got shit you got to do, so I didn't want to waste your time out there. But I didn't want to have a total shit show up here tonight. So
no crazy shows. No, nothing crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to get away from that because I seem to be having a reputation for running shit shows. I'd like to just have something. Let me just stir this something calm here.
Yeah, nice and calm.
Narse, OG Boyd returns, man.
Get you a more comfortable computer chair. You can't be sitting in that thing for too long.
Yeah, you've been, it's been kind of cool to see you around, like back in 2015, 2016 days. So, hello, Neb. Nice to see you. I'm sorry I didn't see the side chat here. Hello, everybody. I have Narse, my nephew, on here tonight. He was, as you know, Narse and Marshall have been at, well, I'm just going to call it. It's war, and just Marshall came on, and I gave him the opportunity to panel up. Hi, Allie. With Narse, he declined that. I'm not going to sneak a link to somebody to cause problems. So Narse is now on here, and you're talking about a offer of peace here. So Narse, I'll turn the floor over to you, and whatever you want to say. And thank you for understanding, first of all.
Yeah, okay. I just want to start off by saying to everybody in the side chat, hello, how are you all? Uh, nice to see you guys again. Um, Today, I got to thinking about some things, and I just wanted to say, first of all, I want to start from the beginning here so I don't miss nothing. Um, I had a good mind to just, like start up a hangout, because I know, like, that's what they're supposed to do. Like, people go head to head on the hangouts and stuff, but I'm like, wait, let me put the brakes on for a second. It's my Aunt Rosie. I got to show some respect. We're not going to act the fool and mess anything up. That was number one.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Number two, I have a good mind to go and deal with Marshall on my own terms, off the internet. As they say in the mafia, kind of like, you wash your own dirty laundry. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I said, no, I'm not going to do this. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make one offering of peace. One. I don't have to. I can continue to pursue what's been going on. Okay? But my offer to him was this, basically. I'm willing to let go of chasing him down on the internet and shutting his hangouts down and causing a riot like I've been doing to get him off the air. I'm willing to not deal with him no more, not talk to him anymore. Basically annex him from the family so he can go on about his own life and do whatever he wants to do. So he doesn't have to feel judged no more about whatever it is that he does. Okay? In return, that any video that he's got of me or my family on his YouTube, he needs to remove. He needs to not mention our names no more or aliases, because let's face it, you can't just sit here and call me Barce and think you're going to get away with it. That's just an alias.
Agreed.
Okay? You can't change one letter to a name and think you're going to be legal. All you did was just create an alias for me. It is what it is. So he's been making videos, fabricating lies, basically just trying to bash me, but within YouTube's community standard guidelines, within their community standard guidelines. So he sits there and he calls me the androgynous one, and he called me a predator and all this stuff. That's fine, whatever. Whatever he wants.
Well, look, let me just jump in for a second, Narce. Let me remind people, Narce is 23 years old. Okay? I don't give a damn what Narce, whatever, was in high school, growing up, eye for the ladies. I'm not buying any of that nonsense anyway. Most right-thinking people aren't, Narce. But continue. I know the way you feel. I mean, so far your offer sounds incredibly noble here, but continue on. And I agree with no BS names, but go on in. Go on and continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So, like I said, I've decided that based on his actions and what he's been doing lately on the internet, what he's been doing with his own time, with his own life, that this isn't what our family is about. He's the only one in our family that does what he does, and it's a bad reputation for our family. So my offer is to him that he should delete everything that's got content about me or the family, goes way back to the beginning of any of his channels. He no longer speak of us, and we no longer speak of him. If he wants, he's more than welcome to go change his last and his first name, because his first name is technically a religious name. It's a highly respected religious name. So by him doing the things that he does, it is basically against our religion. You see what I mean? It's almost like an insult. You understand?
Yep.
So He's got to change his name completely. He can be John Doe for all I care. I don't know. I don't care. You know, and
Now,
he can go on about his life.
let me be clear on this. I got some confusion. Are you talking about a YouTube name, or in fact a real,
His real legal social security card number name? ZMK. That's gotta go. First, middle, and last. It's gotta go. And my last and final part of my offer is that on top of all this, he needs to quit speaking about religion. He cannot talk about our God. He cannot talk about what we believe in as far as the Son of God or the Holy Trinity, anything religious-wise that pertains to our religion. So he needs to move on with his life. You know, I'm not going to allow him to blaspheme our religion for the sake of his own monetary gain. You know what I mean? Oh,
yeah, I think, yeah, I believe it's distasteful to invoke the name of Jesus for religion, but it's not my place to go on that Reformation train. You know what I'm saying, Marshall? To me, it's a family matter between you guys, and to me, it's.
He just did it now. He just did it now on his way out. The last thing he said, just to stick it to me. He just did it now. He is not a religious person. He doesn't go to church. Right. He has never read the Bible. He's damn God. He's clearly said it to me that he doesn't believe in religion, that he thinks God is bullshit and it's all made up by the Jews. He has said all these things. This man is not religious. This was his sneaky way of like sticking it to me, like, you're not gonna talk to me, and I'm gonna stick it to you with religion. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. To me, it doesn't seem like. I mean,
really manipulative and sneaky. Now, another thing, he has threatened to take legal action against me and LCD and other people on YouTube, which I don't believe he's going to do.
Of course not. Given a choice between pouring funds into a van renovation and hiring lawyers, good Lord, lawyer's not going to let you walk without a $2,000 to $4,000, $5,000 retainer to do squats. So we know that ain't going to happen. But I'm just saying, right. I can understand your frustration about that. For me, it's not something that I think 99% of people here would not invoke that to do that. But, again, at the end of the day, I'm not here to run an agency I'm here for entertainment on YouTube, like tonight, talking about the van build. But I think that's a really nice offer, North. I'm not sure about the name change thing, but
I know it's a little steep, but you gotta understand, when people talk to me about him, they won't call him by his real name. They call him by this alias Marshall because they say it's against God for us to call him by this name. We'll be punished just because we know what he does in his life. We can't even call him by his name. Okay?
Yeah, well,
he shares his name with a highly respected saint in our religion.
Well, I'm just saying to Jimmy Hill said, Rosie, it's your place to stop hate. There ain't no hate on my channel in 2019. I don't put up with it here. If there's hate elsewhere, then it's up to YouTube and other people to stop that hate. This year, I decided on this channel was going to be positivity with content, fun hangouts, addressing specific things and topics and people, and sometimes having a panel. But I can only concern myself with what happens on my the conduct that people have on this channel. So yeah, I think that's good. I think the family thing would be the hardest, being he was only child of the only male, of the family.
He needs to go and start his own family is what he needs to do, and go on about his life and leave me and my family alone, because him and his YouTube has caused my family a lot of grief, and is getting to the point where if he doesn't stop, basically, I myself, I'll put an end to it. You know what I mean? And that's all. That's as far as in the detail I'm going to get with that.
No, Red
And that's
Pill
discussing
doesn't.
this live on the air.
That's where you're wrong, Red Pill. It doesn't manifest itself on my channel. It manifests itself on other channels now, not here. I don't.
Okay.
I don't do it.
And
I don't.
another thing, I wanted to say something to the trolls here. It's really not necessary for you guys to contact my Aunt Janet. I understand you guys contacted her. She called me today. She talked to me. We spoke out. There's no need to call her because there's nothing she can do. She's in another state. She has her own problems and her own family to deal with. She doesn't need any of this. So that's what I want to say to the trolls. The trolls, you guys, it's getting to the point. You guys think that sending pictures and stuff to the family is like gonna make us do something to him? There's nothing that we can do to him because he's in another state. He's out of everyone's physical reach, if you know what I mean.
Thank you, Rosie.
So,
yeah, I mean, I've had the same thing done. You know, I understand that, but I sure as hell don't have the behavior about doing the stuff that he does. It's so irritating to people in here. I understand the frustration. I understand that the family wants to pay distance, but I understand family flooded with videos and links and all kinds. I mean, I understand exactly how your family feels in this regard. I think you're very generous in your offer. My own guess is it won't take it up on it because of the family heritage or whatever.
Well, that's fine. If he doesn't take my offering in peace, this is my second offering. I'm taking the shirt off of his back. Whether he likes that shirt, that little African muumuu, whatever that's called.
I think it's a dashiki.
Dashiki, it's not a dashiki. No, the Arabs wear dashikis. It's not a dashiki. Whatever that thing is,
JK,
whatever that thing is, I will have that shirt.
JK, I don't know what Greg is doing. I'm not paying total attention to this side chat. Just give a little forbearance on here tonight with
the only reason that I'm coming at him on here and not in private is because I don't have a way to contact him. I don't have his phone number. You understand?
Yep.
And I don't want him to have my phone number. So he can either accept this offering of peace to leave our family alone and go on about his own life and do whatever he wants and to quit talking about us, or I'm taking his shirt.
Yeah, please don't. JK.
The same way he comes on here and he says, and he talks about how he wants to talk to me, but he was really referring to me and him getting into a physical altercation. I'm going to play his same YouTube community standards guideline game, and I'm going to be like, I'm taking the shirt off of his back.
Right. Well, JK,
you know what I mean?
This is the first time I'm really aware of it happening, JK, so I'm going to ask Greg, please don't time out. JK is a really good friend of mine, and you know, he's an upright kind of guy, and I don't want him to be appreciated if you didn't time him out or do anything on the side chat to him. So that phone, it's fun, awesome. Yeah, the Galaxy S9 Plus is fantastic. Darcy,
if Marshall is reading this, if he's watching this right now, I'm gonna go in and tell him, since I can't confront him face to face because he won't come on and panel up. I'm gonna tell him this: I'm not Lazy Crazy Dave. I'm not any of these weirdos on YouTube. Okay, I don't do lawyers. Okay, I don't spend thousands of dollars to get somebody. Okay, to get to you would cost me nothing. Number one, and you know this. As long as you're in the United States, there's nowhere for you to hide. And you can't run anywhere because you're too fat. That's number two. Number three. Okay? Number three, you will accept this offering or I'm taking that shirt. Okay? You're not going to come on here and make threats to me and my family. You're not going to come on here and threaten legal baloney. You're not going to come on here and wear African clothing and decimate the people of Africa by making fun of their clothing, because that's all he's doing. He's just insulting a whole group of people with his clothes. This guy's got no business wearing a shirt like this. It's like you walking around with a hijab.
I mean, I'm going to say something. Having been there, I mean, people will contact your family as kind of a last resort if they just feel like the behavior is so out there. That's the risk that you take, and then you're alienated from your family. So I guess the bottom line is engage in positive things and try to be a positive person. And
he can either come on here and accept my offering of peace, or I will get him. That's just going to be the bottom line. And it's not going to be like, oh, hey, bro, what's going on? No. It's not going to be no talking involved, okay? In our community, and in many communities that come from other countries of the world, there is no calling the police. We don't call the police, okay? We wash our own laundry. We take care of our own dirty laundry. We take out our own trash. We don't have the cops do it for us.
Well, I think, yeah, I do consider myself part of the family, Marshall, but I'm also part of Janet's family. I'm also part of Narce's family. My roots go pretty deep with these people. I've sat down, I've been with Janet face to face, and I've heard her frustration, and I've heard Narce. Life is given a little bit too. It's also understanding the toll that it takes on other people and family members. That's the other side of the coin. The misery of you know, having to seek out somebody and call. I would never put a family member and reached out and put them on the air, but other people felt compelled. Other people felt compelled to do that. Well, it's their right to do that. What I'm saying is you got to look at the whole totality of the whole situation. And it's not always about you and putting yourself first, because obviously there's a lot of pain that I can personally associate, that I can personally identify with family. Like I say, I'm running a YouTube channel now to have entertainment and to have a fun time and not to be on and moralize and have this type of thing.
Have you? Let me ask you a question, Rosie. Have you gone on his channel and watched the humiliating videos he's made of me and my family?
I don't. I will not be a party or watch those type of videos, as he well knows. When he's doing street streams and going out and hitting the streets in places like Tarpon Springs and doing that kind of content, I love to be around for that. But I will not be around when family and things like that are being ripped. I can't. How can I derive any enjoyment out of that? You know, so I pick and choose the things that I enjoy.
He needs to come on here. He needs to apologize. He needs to accept my offer, and he needs to fall off. You know what? I'll fall off the face of the earth. We'll leave him alone.
Good night, Mallory.
We'll leave him alone. He can leave us alone, and he can go on and do his own thing, and that's it. And he'll be just by himself.
Yeah, I think you got your own family issues to work out. Narce's now reached the point where he's taking matters. Yes, Deborah, or it's family matters. Therefore, I close the door and say La Familia will settle that. And look, I know a Syrian family well enough, knowing Janet. I don't know if Tony is still in the team, but knowing Janet, knowing the other sisters a little bit and everybody, they'll take things in hand with their own matter on this. Do I feel like it's my business? No. So if you want to
he needs to come on here. He needs to come on here. He needs to publicly apologize. He needs to remove his videos, and it'll be done for. If he doesn't remove his videos, then I'm going to go talk to a lawyer as soon as I get my home time back. I'm going to start up a case on this, because I will drop $4 or $5 grand. It doesn't matter to me. I'll do it. I dropped $6 grand on him. I'll drop another $6 grand on a lawyer to shut him down. If I have to have him arrested, you're not going to sit here and decimate my character. It's not going to happen. Okay? So that's what it's going to come to. He needs to come on and he needs to face the music.
No, Steve, you didn't get banned. So Well, I have to say you're good. I mean, we're very light with the band hammer, and we don't do a lot of stuff over here. Let people have their say. I'm not. This ain't no country club chat, so people have had their say in here without being taken out in the back. You know, Narce, you know, I love you a lot. You and I have a history. I love your family. We have a history. I'm sorry that this stuff goes on with you. I think it's a good offer. I think it just falls down at the point of a name change, but I can't tell an Assyrian family how to conduct their own affairs. That's up to them.
He needs to delete. He needs to take his videos off the internet about us and the family. He needs to quit referring to us. He needs to apologize, and he needs to go move on with his life, because this man has been nothing but cancer in our family. He's caused nothing but problems in this family.
Yeah, I think the mods have done a good job in here tonight. So I just think it's, you know, it's a family matter. It's out there. Monique says,
I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to tell you like this because I got to go to sleep. I don't have all night to deal with this clown.
Yeah,
I'm going to finish it off like this.
Okay.
Tomorrow, what time is it now? 2:42 in the 2:43 in the morning.
It's almost.
He's got till tomorrow, sometime tomorrow. Well, I'll give him 24 hours. He's got 24 hours to make a video. He doesn't have to even confront. I'll even give him this. He doesn't even have to confront me face to face live on the internet. He's got 24 hours. This is the same. I'm going to give him a taste of his own medicine that he likes to tell people that they got 24 hours. I'm telling him he's got 24 hours to make a video stating his apology that he was in the wrong. Okay?
Yeah,
then he will take the videos down. In return, I will make a video apologizing, stating that I was in the wrong. We will squash this beef and move on. The family will not contact him no more. He will not contact us no more. And it's going to be done.
Let me just get a little bit of clarification here, Narce. The final, let's just tick down bullet points, the final terms and conditions that you want to express on here.
Yeah, this is what I want. I want him to make a public video apology, apologizing. It's not going to cost him no money. I don't want no taxes or nothing. Okay? He demanded taxes from me. He said, you have 24 hours to pay $1,000 in taxes. I don't want no money from him. I don't want his $6,000. I don't want nothing from him. I don't want a penny from him. I want him to make a public video apologizing on behalf of what he's done to me and the family through all the years of his YouTube and even before his YouTube. Okay? I will make a video back apologizing for me chasing him down on YouTube. We will not contact him no more. He will not contact us no more. And that'll be done. It's over. He can go on about his life, do whatever he wants, and that's it.
How about the name thing?
We're not going to talk to him. We're not going to hear about it.
Okay.
Like it's done.
Okay, so it's not necessarily a requirement, but do the video, do the apology, and remove the video.
He needs to apologize, and he needs to be a good human being and quit talking about religion. That's got to stop. He will be disowned from the family. I, on the behalf of my entire family, I'm willing to sign off on him and disown him. Because I need to do what's right for the majority of the family. This man has caused nothing but problems and grief for me, my parents, my aunts, people like just my friends, like my jobs. It's going to end. And if he doesn't accept, then I'm going to go talk to a lawyer and I will have the law end it. I will have this YouTube legally shut down. I will make it to where he can make 1 million YouTube accounts. I will have them all shut down simply because he's running them.
Well,
you will not get away with this.
There's something to think about, you know.
I will go to the ends of the earth to make sure he will never be seen on the face of the internet again.
And Marshall,
he's got 24 hours.
My advice.
He's got 24 hours.
Would be that
just like how he liked to be up with his fancy coffee drinks and he's bashing people, especially me on the internet, that's fine. He can drink all the coffee he wants. He's in his own van. But he's got 24 hours. I expect it tomorrow about 3 p.m. I will be expecting his video.
And I would consider this, Marshall, that Narce has the financial wherewithal to actually pursue legal action. So think about that. Think about religion. Think about the family. Think about these are people that you grew up with. These
I have had enough of my family and friends calling me around the clock, telling me what he's doing on the internet. How does he have the nerve to do what he's doing on the internet? Please talk to him. Get him up. People think I control him like he's my puppet. I'm like, look, the guy's almost 40 years old. I don't control him. People call me. I'm in charge. I'm driving an 80,000-pound vehicle here. Okay. People are calling me and stressing me out, telling me about what is going on in his life. I don't need to hear this, and my family does not need to hear this. Okay. He needs to go on about his life and leave us alone, and we will leave him alone. That's it. We don't care if he's gay. We don't care if he sucks. We don't care. Just leave us alone. Get your YouTube people off of us. We don't want to deal with you no more. I've had enough.
There it is.
And that's what it is. He's got 24 hours. He's got till 2:48 in the morning tomorrow. I expect the video, though, about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. But he's got till 2:30 in the morning tomorrow. So that's all I've got to say.
Thank you.
For all you trolls, if he's not watching, because I don't see him typing, if he's not watching, be sure to take this offer and forward it to him. And we'll see what he does. Because I've had it. I've had it with people calling me, crying from frustration that random strangers are contacting them on Facebook, telling them what's going on. I've had enough of Assyrian people calling us saying, what's going on in your family? What's wrong with your family? You know how much problems this has caused me?
Yeah,
people say, oh, there's something wrong with their family. They got something wrong in their bloodline.
You're preaching to the choir, brother. I mean, I know.
People think our bloodline is poisoned or something. They're like, these people got something wrong with their bloodline. We should just stay away from these people. Okay? His actions have caused us ourselves to become outcasts within our own community. Okay? So that's going to end now. They really should have ended when it first began. The damage is done. The damage is irreversible. At this point, the horse is dead and is continuing to being beat. But it's going to stop. And that's it. And I'll stop. I'll never come on here again. I'll never chat on here again. If you want, I'll take home time in California and I'll come visit you on my own personal time. I'll never be on YouTube again.
That'd be great. Not being on YouTube, popping by and coming out and spending some time with us out here. That'd be outstanding.
You know?
Yep.
I'll keep in private contact with the people that are important to me. But all this baloney is going to be done. So.
Okay. Well, I love you very much.
Dealing with this guy with the blue wrench, this thug that he thinks he's going to run me out of my own city in Chicago. I don't have to hear this from this clown. The only reason I'm dealing with this clown now is because of my soon-to-be not my uncle anymore uncle. Okay? It's the only reason I'm being stressed out right now is from all these people. Is because of him. And I'm going to put an end to it. It's going to be done. I had a really good mind. You know I'm in my early 20s. You know I'm full of testosterone. You know I could have came on here and been a jerk and shut this down. I could have made a live hangout going crazy like I need to bring my tone down because I'm getting loud. I realize it. I could have came on here.
I don't want you to get worked up. You got to get some rest and you got to be on the road tomorrow and all that. So, it's late for you. Yep.
I could have came on here hollering and screaming. I could have shut this down. I could have shut down Dave's I could have shut everybody's hangout down if I wanted to. But I didn't. Let me have some respect over here.
Very much appreciated. Very much appreciated on here. So Thank you, Narce. Much love to you from Jen and I. She has her surgery next Tuesday. We'll keep you posted how that goes. And, you know,
Okay. I wish her all the luck.
Yeah.
I wish her all the luck.
Yeah, and stay safe on the road, okay?
I will. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Okay. Have a good night, Aunt Rosie. Bye-bye.
Take care. All right. There goes the Narce. Let's see. JK NoCal, I am going to give you a rant by virtue of fact that I did not see what was going on tonight. And you are, I get the right person. Yeah, you are now a mod here, so you don't have to worry about being booted out. Yeah, Narce is a good friend of mine, and I will certainly encourage Marshall to think long and hard about what he says, Marshall, because to be outside of a family, speaking from personal experience, is an absolutely terrible, terrible thing. And you may not appreciate it that at age 37, but when you get older, and you start to put life in perspective a little bit, not having family is a really, really brutal thing. Friends can never take the place of family. And I consider Narce family. I consider Janet family. I consider you family. I'm not telling anybody what to do on here, but you have to think long and hard about the long haul, the long pull, and not just about entertainment here on YouTube, but to think about your family stuff and the misery that they go through, the agony. You know, I haven't gone through with my own family. The dozens of pictures are sent and videos and things are posted. It's a horrible, horrible thing. You've got to have some love in your heart and think about the things that Narce. This is obviously a person that is hurt. As far as my channel concerned for 2019, I will continue doing the things that interest me. And I want to thank you, James, for giving me the idea. If the Lisa Marie was mine, here's the things that I would do to do the renovation. I think it was an outstanding process tonight to talk about taking a van and really doing something to really customize that and make it right. I'm not here to work with people's behaviors. I'm not here to solve family problems. I'm here on YouTube to have a good time for myself. I went through my own public hell for years on here, okay? I encourage you, Marshall, to put yours behind you and do the things that you need to do to square things up and be respectful of your family. These are people that grew up with you. These are people that nurtured you. And I'm going to put this final thing on. The behavior would break your mother's heart if she was able to comprehend and see what goes on and the things that you're doing that are hurting people and using the name of religion. But let me be perfectly clear, in 2019, I'm not going to be the person anymore to be the SWAT patrol to take care of that behavior. All I can do is advise you, make peace with your family, turn the corner, not use religion, not to be a blasphemer, not to do things invoking the name of God, okay? I don't think it's tasteful. Other than that, the entertainment value is there. You know, this is the thing that I'm trying to stress to you tonight. I will let this keep going for another half hour here. Marshall is that asking why the fool lies about. I don't want to treat him like a fool. I want to say that it's a person with pain that he's dealing with here. And it's up to you, not me, to make that right. Okay? Knowing everybody in the family and having sat with them and conversation with them and Facebook friends with them and all that. There will come a day, if you don't make this thing right, there will come a day when you will be filled with regret. That when you go to pick up the phone and say, you know, I've got a problem, or I'm in terrible, desperate need, they're going to remind you of the time that you didn't do the things to protect them when they needed it from this wall of misery that comes that way. That's your call, Marshall, not mine on here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give another half hour here on Narce is a scam, man. No, I don't think so, Jimmy. Now your true colors came out. There's nobody being banned on here. 4 horsemen. Put my deep boots on. That's fine. Yeah, quit invoking outside agency. Bully says, long live Campervan Elvis. You're not getting banned here, Jimmy. Okay. Narce's like, Vegas Barbie, add me to Facebook. So, well, Narce's kind of a ladies gal. I'm not, Jimmy was timed at. That's up to my moderators. I'm not here wrenching and doing all that. I don't see a lot of banning going on tonight. Thank you, Charlie. I think it was an epic chat tonight. I really enjoyed doing the van. The van build out was very nice to me. Your messages are posting, Blue. You're right here. You're right here. I like men. I like women. It is, Ollie Polly. This is a really good object lesson. This is a really good object lesson of how stuff can be. Yeah, I hear you, hipster heaven. This is a good object. What do you think of tiny house for someone who's to work away from home to 1 to 2 stretches? You know what I would do, Ginger? I would get myself a used travel trailer and just put it on a lot somewhere and plug it in, honey, as opposed to a tiny house. But this is the RV community, so I do have a little bit of a difference in there. Let's see. Yeah, you learned a lot. Block words. I don't know. I mean, I don't want the N word is on a block list. JK NoCal, I'm sorry about that. I think you and Greg have a little bit of stuff here. So yeah, anybody wants to add nomadic Narce, he's a great kid. I'm enjoying. I can't wait to get down to Florida and spend some quality time with him. He's always welcome to come out here. You'll have an open door in California. There's no organized RV community anymore. If you think that the goofballs that crap in buckets out in the desert is an RV community, you got another thing coming, my friend. You're welcome, JK, and I didn't know that was going on there. I think I have the great mods here on the side chat. So I do know JK in real life, and I don't want him to ever feel like he doesn't have a place here on the chat. He's a wonderful, beautiful person. Hey, good day, Aussie. How you doing, mate? There are huge RV communities. I don't see them here on YouTube. You point the way to them, and if you think that Camo Dave is such a person, I'll laugh. Okay. I know Wonder Bread Paulie out there, Paul Barger, other people that I communicate and talk to. I talk to Nomadic Fanatic and communicate with him. I think any sense of real community is very isolated and very mobile. I think it's great, though, to go to an RTR. Ooh, I think this was a good night tonight. What do you think would have happened, Bob Wells? I know, Muffin, but I can't fault somebody for bringing people together in such a great thank you, Monique. That's what I was, Monique, it's on them. You know what I'm saying, honey? The day you remove that mantle of taking responsibility for somebody else is the day that you really start to fulfill yourself as a person. Okay, not to let other people drag you with that cross, because it's up to that person to take care of their behavior. Okay, take care. Take care, Aussie. Nice to see you. Well, I try to have a good time, Deborah, too. I'm not here to solve family. I've tried for years to work with. There's some wonderful people in that family. The older sister's wonderful, worked as an accountant. I mean, there's a lot of them in there. The boyfriends of them I've met with. Everybody in that family knows me. Everybody. Even Marshall's father before he passed away. Yeah, and go ahead if you need to contact Narce. There's his contact information. He does check his medicine. I'm thinking about my own medicine. Does check his messages. Keith Thompson, Bob is pretty protective of his empire there, huh? Docs my own family, they're annoying. I wouldn't make a good shrink, Billy Jack, because I'm not that, I can't invest myself that much into other people's problems. You reach a limit where you can't do it anymore. I've tried for years with this crew. It's just Narce's chosen to draw a line in the sand. So he works. He's got the ability to hire legal counsel. I would just, what's the downside of being friendly and putting family together? I can't see it. Yeah, it's too much mental stress. You come home and you think, how am I going to bring these people together? I guarantee if I had Narce and Elvis on panel tonight, Elvis would have just ended up, saying something very lame or, pay your taxes, you're delinquent, and that would have just set off We're going to do something. I think we're going to make an orange cream pie. I'm tired of cakes, so. Orange cream pie. Jimmy Hill, I didn't see you get timed out. I can't watch everything that the mods are doing over there, Jimmy. You've had free speech all night long. I haven't made a move to kick anybody, and I'm certainly not a popular person on YouTube right now. He is a gentleman. He is a gentleman. Orange cream. They call it an orange sickle. No problem, Jimmy. I'm not here to. Okay, take care, Narce. Take care. Best to your family, too. Send my regards to Janet. This should be fun. I know I made a pecan pie, Junior. I've made a lot of pecan pie. No problem, Jimmy. Vegas Barbie. Anybody's going to be in the Reno area the third week of February, we'll be up to Elf. You can do no wrong. Elf, you can do no wrong, honey. I watch you on the other chats. Girl, you keep me entertained as fuck on there. Can I sit on your pie show? Or it's going to be bikini cooking. Sorry, Muffin 15. Oh, funnel cake. Can you make a Puerto Rican flan for code for I do break bread, driver. I just made Jewish rye bread a couple weeks ago. Check it out, the video. You guys are funny as fuck. I've learned a lot about it. I've learned, hey Tucker, I've learned a lot about the Syrian family and my dealings with that family. I've got an insight when the fires hit the trailers, when Marshall's first rig burned up, and getting an inheritance of just a buffer and just and the sense that the family cheated you out of an inheritance and stuff. I mean, who knows the real truth about that? Not my business. But people think that, well, I never got anything out anyway. Well, you did get raised and you did have a pretty good life, Do I hate all the bucket shitters? Let me put it this way. You ain't never going to see me sitting haunched over a 5-gallon Homer bucket from fucking Home Depot, okay? Bottom line. Oh man, I'll meet you guys in Mardi Gras, Monique. If you and Elf go down to Mardi Gras, man, that would be awesome. How you doing, Tucker? Mine would have an actual toilet in the rig. I'm not doing Walmart bags. I don't even want. I can't even get my head around that. Okay, but I'm not telling other people how to live their life. I'm sure Marshall's not the worst in terms of hygiene out there on the highway. I see in my own neighborhood. What's that festival? Fantasy Fest, Code. Are you going to join us down there? We're going to get all the big stars together down there. Oh, man, Joe King. Boy, Joe King had to take his nap today. He had such an overdose of entertainment. Take care, JK. Love you, JK. Take care. Jimmy, you want to be a mod of mine? It's the worst. Ask Jay Greg. It's the worst. It's the worst job in the world. That's it. Let's jackknife the trunk and crap on the shoulder highway. It never does, Joe King, and I tried with the crew for the better part of a year and a half. I could say so much, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut because I don't share other people's family business on YouTube here. I'm telling you, Fantasy Fest. You know, if we get somebody's going to cover off the lodgings down there and stuff to have a streamer house and to have people live streaming and shit and out on the streets at Fantasy Fest, these people would support the hell out of that to watch that kind of content. I mean, it would be off the chain. My subscribers would be in there and make that happen, man. Jimmy Hill, you'll always have the right to speak in my chat. Look at my thumbs up and my thumbs down. Fantasy Fest is in Key West down there, and you have the parades, like the topless parades and all the craziness down there. It's just a free-for-all. It's just a good time, and I think people would tip to have that kind of content. Yeah, it's down in Key West to set up a streaming house where people were streaming a lot of the day. Good night, Muffins. Thanks for coming on, honey. Have a good one. Make sure to do your homework. It's all done, all right? It's off the freaking chart. I can imagine Coat down there. Juice is all about that. No, you're no problem, Jimmy. It's all about a titty fest down there. Scottish, that's what I'm saying. But the best next thing to be in there would it be having us down there, bringing you that content for a week, you know? Would that be off the chain? That's what we're planning. 1 week long, Coat. Good night, driver. Thank you very much, my friend. Thanks for being a nice guy. Good night, Roadkill. Steve, nice to see you. I think that content would be outstanding, and I think people would help us make that happen. I really do. Yeah, the thumbs down community. I mean, you got to let people express themselves. They get pent up. Good night, Bully. Nice to see you. Okay, thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it. Thank you. Good night, driver. Thanks for being on. We need it. We will. We're going to have, I'm investing in top flight streaming equipment for a full week down there with restaurant visits. I'm sure the trolls will be booting us out and having us swatted and all kinds of shit down there to be streaming at the hotel or condo, wherever the hell we're staying. Yeah, you know people in Key West, I think it'd just be a really damn good time. And all you guys be watching that and having a good time watching all that content. Look at what Tamara said. Florida should be fenced off and sacked. Somebody else said that Florida looks like a big, what did somebody say earlier? Florida looks like a big hanging dick off of the United States. Actually, Joe King, a lot of places that we're looking at for housing don't allow oversized vehicles there. So we got some real logistics to work through. You know? Yeah, but it would be fun, wouldn't it, Scottish, to see this whole crew down in Key West? It looks kind of flaccid, Elf, if you want my opinion about it. So that's what I'm saying, Scott. It's such a blast. All we need is a headquarters place, and then, you know, if people feel like tipping a little bit for that, that's great coming up. Because it will be good. It'll be basically around the clock streaming and stuff down there. So, and I'm sure that we'll be swatted, booted out of places, the whole shebang. It's not fun to be swatted and booted. Yeah, I think so too, Coach. Airbnb's like the best. Yeah, Coop's got a fifth wheel. We're gonna see if we can. Thank you, Opiyami. I appreciate that. My haters, they really aren't. They're good. They're good people. They do have big hearts. The thing I want them to understand is this is not the place to address behavior that upsets you anymore. So I'll see you in feathers. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Scottish. Your wish will come true. A carnival look. Yeah. Damn, Timer. You guys, well, I don't know, Red Pill. I don't, you know, on YouTube, I don't think anybody really hates anybody because they're God-fearing people on here, and you never wish hate on anybody. But let's say really intensely dislike some people. You know, and Elvis is one of them. You put yourself out. You invoke the name of God for things. You're not totally respectful for veterans, things like that. You set yourself up. You know, it's like a pie. Let's just imagine a pie that you cut into 8 pieces. And let's say one of those pies is being gay or trans on YouTube. Well, you pull out one of those pieces of pie. There's still 7 pieces of pie that people can say, well, I'm not down with the LGBT thing, but, well, Rosie knows about RVs. Rosie knows about cinematography. Rosie does nice street streams. Rosie does metal detecting. Rosie does some gun stuff. Rosie does renovation. You know, there's enough of the pie there that you can get past that. There you go, Monique. But you start pulling pieces of pie, lack of respect for vets, lack of respect for religion, lack of respect for family, lack of respect for others on YouTube. There's not a lot of pie left. There's not a lot for people to pull. Oh, I'll tell you what, Monique, I go down there, baby. It's all out down there. Thank you, Tamara. I appreciate that. Thank you. Versace house. It was like 8. What was that? 8. How much was that, King? 8,000 a night? 8K a night? I'm not sure. Let me read what you still have the link, Marshall. You can come on. You still can come back on, and if you want, you haven't been blocked out. Don't forget Matronista. Check out her channel if you want to make a donation to her. You know, she had to bury her husband and all that. So let me see here. What is this? Matthew 7:21. Let me see. Matthew 7:21. Let me see what this is. The warning against false prophets. What is that? Not everyone saith. I don't know. See, I don't like to read this stuff. I don't even feel comfortable reading this, Marshall, because you know, I'm not gonna read that. You know, I'm not gonna be a tool for that. I can't do that. You invoke it yourself. I would not dare. You know, I got enough negative on my plate to not have to up the odds. Okay, I'll resend you the link here. You know, I got enough bad shit weighing me down. I don't need to add blasphemer to the list, okay? That ain't gonna happen. Let's see. All right, there it is. Yeah, can you imagine living there, Kayla, down in Key West down there? My goodness. Welcome back, Marshall. I don't know what that, like I say, I will never invoke religion on YouTube. I believe in the separation. But again, I'm not going to tell you how to run it.
I just know, the whole thing about religion, a lot of people don't know. When I was about, I'd say about in my 20s, probably 20, 21, for 1 year of my life, I became a reborn Christian. And I read the Bible diligently, the New International Version, and I'm very well versed with the Bible and a lot of the verses and all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I sometimes these Bible verses, you know, you read them, and everybody can interpret them in a certain way. But that's why this verse came in my mind. This Matthew 7:21. It just the Holy Spirit, really the Holy Spirit kind of flashed it in my brain. Like it just said it to me telepathically to read Matthew 7:21. That's why I asked you to read it. It's actually like a spiritual thing. I don't know how to explain it. It's like the Holy Spirit is talking to me telepathically, and this verse just came out of nowhere and stuff. Well, that's why I just wanted you to read this to see if we could just.
What is the? You know, Marshall, I'm like you. I was born and raised Catholic, and you know, I got enough junk in my trunk in that regard. You know, the last thing I want to do on YouTube is come on and ever use religion as a tool of persuasion, a tool of influence, a tool of coercion, or a tool of personal.
Well, in reality,
so people would think better of me if I was able to quote.
In reality, look at any religion. Let's just look at Christianity. Look at the televangelists. Look at Benny Hinn, Joel Osteen, T.D. Jakes, any of the big names, Swaggart. The reality is, they use religion. They use religion for their message. Anybody, all these people that are, they're using religion in their message. A lot of people, that's why we have all this. It's so unique that religion is it's just as powerful as politics. It's part of our society. It's part of our life and world. It's part of humanity and stuff.
Well, do you think that you promote a positive image in terms of religion on YouTube? I mean, we do have the experience of family stuff, and believe me, Mark, let me just finish. I'm deep intertwined, everybody in your family knows me and stuff, but I'm saying, you know, there's certain intersections with real life and religion that are concerning. I can't tell. I'm not your religious Sharma here.
Well, think about it. Every religious verse, and I asked you to read Matthew 7:21 to 23, if you could. Every religious verse that's out there, in the literal context that is being read, it's in the Bible. But you can take that verse and you can apply it and interpret it in your life in a metaphor based on a metaphor and stuff. You see what I'm saying? So it's every verse has a meaning. You see what I'm saying?
I understand that, Marshall, but how do you relate that to the real world? You know what I'm saying? Hey, Blinky, how you doing? We have 200 and
the verses make a lot of sense. But what it is you have the verse, you have the message, you have the word, and everybody has a different interpretation of it depending on who they are in their life. Everybody interprets the Bible differently. Why is there so many kinds of Christians in the world? We have a lot of different kinds of Christians in the world because every person reads the Bible and interprets it in a different way. We have so many Bibles and so many interpretations and so many different types of Christians and stuff. So the way that I interpret the Bible might be different than somebody else interpreting the Bible. You see what I'm saying? But I like to use the Bible because it speaks in it's a metaphor. If you know what a metaphor means, it's symbolism. It's symbolism for something and stuff. So you know, there's a lot of verses in the Bible that look at all the stuff that they say about the LGBT.
When did you, in 2000, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to have a conversation, not a monologue, but I'm saying, Marshall, you didn't invoke that in 2015, 16, and 17. I mean, what's the change? What's the change that brought that about? I mean, if your objective is to try to raise, you know, funds for daily living, then just imagine there's several pieces. The pie has 8 pieces. Now you're pulling the religious piece of the pie out, so there's less. The Bible does teach prosperity preaching. Crevlo Dollar uses it. Look up Crevlo Dollar. There's a lot of verses in the Bible. There's a lot of verses in the Bible that preach prosperity and stuff.
I know, Marsh.
These are churches that actively don't. Yeah. You know, they actively do things positively for communities. You know, they try to take some portion of the money in, and then use that for the betterment of other people. They do take money themselves to live, but their whole thing.
The Bible. Let me answer you right here, because you asked me a key question, so let me answer you. The Bible teaches prosperity. There's a lot of verses in the Bible that talk about prosperity and stuff. The Bible doesn't. God doesn't want people to be poor and living on the street. He wants us to prosper and stuff. There's a lot of verses in the Bible that teach prosperity. So if I'm using the Bible to prosper, it's already in the Bible. There's plenty of verses, and maybe now that you brought this up, I need to go and print out all the prosperity verses in the Bible, because it does teach prosperity and stuff. There's a lot of people that use the Bible. Crevlo Dollar is one of them. There's a lot of people, and there's a lot of verses in the Bible about prospering, about prosperity. Why do people think that God wants us to be poor and have nothing and stuff? He wants us to prosper. So now that you brought that up, and people want to keep on saying that I'm using religion to make money, now I'm going to hit everyone with prosperity verses, because it does teach prosperity and stuff. There's plenty of verses in the Bible about being prosperous and having prosperity and stuff. So I don't know why people always try to say, hey, Elvis, you're using the Bible and you're being blasphemous and you're using the Bible to make money and stuff, when the Bible itself teaches prosperity. I just don't have the verses right off of my head, but I'm sure it does. I've heard it. So people can say, well, does God want us to have nothing, just to be homeless on the street, or does he want us to prosper and stuff? Of course he wants us to prosper. It's already in the Bible and stuff. So why people think that that someone cannot use the Bible to prosper is ridiculous, because look at how many people the church says. Look what it says. It says 10% tithe. Give 10% of your income to the church. I walked to an Assyrian church, and you know what they told me, Rosie?
What?
They said, let us take this money out of your bank account, direct deposit. It'll make a change in your life. It's a money-making operation. Religion is a money-making operation. There's no secret about it. People give money to the church.
Yeah, I mean, nobody on the side chat would argue that a lot of religion has not been bastardized through the interpretation, lousy Catholic priests, lousy proselytizing Protestant. I mean, there's a million ways that people screw up religion, but the smart people get the basic message out of the core of it, that understand that to model your behavior on Jesus is probably the number one thing that
we're living. Okay, in 2019, there's churches out there that are LGBT, gay, transgender churches. That's against the Bible. What about those people? There's so many different. There's so many.
Of course, but we have to accommodate people that feel like this is who they are. So churches dare to stand and say, look,
right. What about those people? People want to talk about me using the Bible for prosperity and stuff. The Bible teaches prosperity. What about the people that have the LGBT churches, and it says in the Bible that sodomy and being transgender and all that is an abomination and stuff? What about those churches?
Speaking for them,
yeah,
I can tell you most of our belief comes out of the New Testament and not the Old Testament. And the New Testament, Jesus never had a ballpoint pen in his hand or wrote down rules and regulations. His teachings were very simple, Marshall. He hung out with prostitutes, went nailed on the cross with a convicted murderer and a thief next to him. Every bit of symbolism in that Bible in the New Testament showed Jesus with sinners and not with saints. The message is we all belong if we want to belong. At least that's my interpretation of it. You know what I mean? The golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I mean, you'll be judged by your deeds, what you did for people, not who you are or who you thought you should be.
Right.
If my own thought is, if God judges people by some formulaic way of saying you're in or either out, then all God did was play a cruel game on humanity. That many of you were destined to fail before you even entered the game, and many of you, if given the chance of your free will, would have never played this game, never would have asked to be brought into this. But since you are in, I don't think my God plays that kind of cruel potential Russian roulette of getting in. I think he says, I'll look at what you did when you come to the gates of heaven, and I will judge accordingly. Did you treat people with respect? Did you feed the hungry? Did you support the poor? Did you turn the other cheek? Those type of things. Did you try to uplift people instead of put those?
Rosie, you know what the reality is? If I interpreted the Bible and used the Bible like every troll out there with the 200 or whatever you have watching on the side chat.
Whoa, whoa. These aren't trolls.
Right. Let's think about it for a second. Everyone interpreted.
Wait a minute. Gray Campbell, not a troll. Vicky Victoria, not a troll. Ghetto, probably a troll. Joe King, a troll, but a real United States. At Mama Beth, I mean, there's a lot of people. Jews, Coat. They're not trolls, but continue with what, let's say half are.
If everyone in here said that the Bible doesn't teach, the Bible does teach us to be humble and to be thankful for what we have, but it also teaches us, there's also a lot of Bible verses about prosperity. And since the trolls are bringing this up repeatedly, I'm going to hit all of you guys with prosperity verses, because the Bible does teach prosperity. It's in the Bible and stuff. I don't have them right off of my head. Now,
my only caution to you, Marshall, is I believe that you will alienate more people that would have potentially support you, because they now feel like religion is being used as a raw tool to pull money from people. But like I said, it's your channel. If that's your interpretation of the Bible, I'm more of a spiritual person than religious. I don't really need religion to be part of my life. I never claimed that I was religious, but I am spiritual. But what I'm saying is that if you got a group of people, how many of them that they could be and stuff, right? Some people are, if you want to call them agnostic, atheist, religious. What's the point? The point is that I like to use the Bible as a metaphor. I don't use it as a religious, literal context. I use it as a metaphor in life, and I use it as it's a morality book. It's a book about morality and stuff. So I use it as a moral compass rather than a literal religious. I think most of us do, unless we're literal interpreters,
But since people want to bring this up about the Bible, and they want to say, you know what, Elvis is using the Bible to make money or prosper, then let's talk about prosperity verses. Then I'm going to be hitting everybody with prosperity verses. Then I want them to tell me that the Bible doesn't teach prosperity. Then, because that's what it comes down to. What are people saying? Is everybody saying that the Bible doesn't teach prosperity? That God doesn't want us to prosper?
They're just saying you're very selective about the things that you choose to use out of the Bible, and you don't look at the whole totality of family things and what the Bible teaches about family relationships. I use
Revelation 3:16, where it says, "You're either hot or cold for your Lord. If you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out." I like that verse. It means a lot. I think it means a lot when I tell it to the people and stuff. I use it. It's a verse, but I use it. It's a metaphor, so I can use it and apply it in my life to people. There's a lot of verses out there that you can use it. You don't have to literally take it so literally, but you apply it in your life like a third person and stuff. So it's like, if people say that I shouldn't use the Bible to prosper or to make money, then you know what? I'm gonna go actually buy a Bible. I don't even own one right now, and I'm gonna hit everybody with prosperity verses. And then I want all you people out there to go against to see if you guys are gonna say that the Bible doesn't teach prosperity and stuff, because it does teach prosperity. I'm sure there's a lot of verses out there to do that. And I was going to use Matthew 7:21 as a metaphor. That's why I wanted you to read it, because I want to use it as a metaphor.
I'm not going to argue that. I'm going to look at things from a practical, hard-nosed, YouTube point of view, in terms of looking at what if I was your advisor and if I was a YouTube advisor and I sat down with you and I heard what you were saying about hitting people with the prosperity thing and all that, I'd say, Marshall, you'll probably do more to drive any potential donations to the negative than you ever would a positive. But if you want to pursue that and you feel strongly in your heart that that's the message that you want to relay, then by all means take that message out. But as your advisor, I would tell you that you're moving retrograde. You're moving backward in terms of appeal to
people want to bring down the Bible, so bring up the Bible. So let's bring up the Bible. Let's talk about it in detail. Let's really get into the verses and talk about it in detail. If they believe They're saying that I'm blaspheming the name of God by saying that people should help me. The Bible does say help people. It does say on there, it does say help people. So I'm going to quote verses about the Bible saying help people. I'm going to quote verses about the Bible saying that it's okay for us to prosper. And then I want to see what the trolls are going to say about that. Then I want to see then what is their comeback going to be? Are they still going to be saying that I'm blaspheming the name of God when the Bible itself says help people, help those that are in need? And there are a lot of verses about prosperity. So how are they going to fight back then? What's going to be their comeback?
I'm just saying, do you really think that the quote unquote troll is going to put $1 in your pocket? I mean, you're going to take it.
No, a troll's not going to put $1 in my pocket. But all I want to do is prove to them. They keep on saying I'm blaspheming the name of God. How am I blaspheming the name of God if I'm online and I'm asking people to help me and the Bible says help those that are in need? How am I blaspheming the name of God when I'm saying the Bible itself teaches prosperity and stuff? So I'm going to put up the verses in every troll's face, and I want to see how they're going to make a comeback. What is their comeback going to be? No, come back with a Bible verse. No, I'm challenging all the trolls. Come back with a Bible verse that says that I shouldn't ask for help from people. Come back with a Bible verse that says that God doesn't want me to prosper and stuff. And we'll go right into the Bible.
Fair enough. You know, I mean, that's. I'm not going to tell people what to do if that's
blaspheming the name of God, coming online.
I mean, that's hard. I mean, if that's the 3rd and 25, third down, 25 yards to go play you want to do, then by all means do it on YouTube and run with it. I mean, I'll be interested in observing empirically how that works out.
I've always said I've never been a religious person, but I am spiritual, and I like to use the Bible as a moral compass. It really is a moral compass and stuff. It really is.
So you do believe in God then, correct?
I do believe in God, but I have said agnostic means it doesn't mean you don't believe in God. I've said I was agnostic.
You believe in a God, but you're not quite sure where the pieces will fall in the end. I understand.
I believe that there is a God, but I don't think that people want to define what God is. And it's religion was written by human beings and stuff. It was written by human beings and stuff.
Yeah, of course. It was. People want to argue and say after Christ was gone. Of course, it was written by people.
Yeah, people want to argue and say, okay, these human beings were inspired by the Holy Spirit, but it was written by human beings. Yeah. It was written by human beings and stuff. So the question is, human beings, we're not perfect. We're not God. So, but what the religious people say, this is the perfect word of God because it was inspired by the Holy Spirit. That's the whole story of it. But again, if there's trolls out there that believe and they want to go verse to verse in Bible and get to the scripture and literature, show me verses that say that I shouldn't prosper. Show me verses that say that I shouldn't ask for help when I need it and stuff.
Well, I think if you have an open live stream and if you do allow people to post, I mean, I have many people on the outside quoting lazy, Proverbs 10:4, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands make for, I mean, they'll come to you.
They can post those verses too, but show me also verses that say that if I'm asking for help, that I'm blossoming in the name of God. If I ask for help when I need it. Show me verses that are saying that God doesn't want me to be prosperous. Show me.
No, I don't.
They always quote the verses where it says if a person doesn't work, he doesn't eat. We've already heard that. But they're going to the next level and saying, okay, Elvis is blossoming in the name of God and Jesus Christ as he's asking for help. And that's not true. There's no verses in the Bible that say that I would be blasphemous asking for help when I need it. There's no verses in the Bible that say that God doesn't want me to be prosperous or anybody else. So again, if there is, put it up there. Put the verses up and let's go verse by verse in scripture. Let's get serious about it. Let's get into a theological discussion here. Seriously. Because people are making this stuff up and it's baloney and stuff. Well, it really is.
We can definitely have that discussion one night. You'll need to be on your laptop so you can be engaged with the sidetrack.
I want to have a theological discussion with people and stuff. I want to have a theological, and one thing I want to say, the reason I know a lot about the Bible there's an Assyrian guy, and his name is Sam. He's got a YouTube channel. He's a very famous apologetic. He debates Muslims and stuff. And he was the one that got me into religion and that taught me about the Bible and stuff. He's a real famous guy all over the internet. He debates Muslims and stuff. And I was a reborn Christian for 1 year. I read a lot of the Bible, the New International Version, and that's why I know a lot about the Bible and stuff. Okay. But if people want to we need to have a hangout where we have a theological discussion. Let's have a theological discussion and go verse by verse.
We can certainly have that one evening, maybe next week. You could be on your laptop so you can see. I mean, people are putting tons of Chazos, putting a lot of Bible things. That's fine, Mark.
All they put is the same verse saying, if you don't work, you don't eat. That's the same verse that they put over and over again. Okay, I get that. It does say that. But it also says, it's okay to ask for help if you need help. I'm not doing nothing wrong against the Bible by asking for help. I'm not blaspheming God's name. Yeah. And also prosperity and stuff. God doesn't want us to be homeless. We're God's children. He wants us to prosper.
I mean, if you're willing to face his side chat where you can actually see it, because these
I'm willing to go up against 300 people and have a theological discussion, a religious discussion on scripture.
I mean, but being on the phone as opposed to being on a laptop, because these people are a million times smarter than I am about biblical stuff, and they want to take you on the side chat.
None of them, and the people that don't help when somebody needs help to give, they're actually going against God's word and stuff, because it says on there you should help people that need help and stuff. And they always want to come back and say and give me the verse, well, if you're lazy and don't work, you're not going to eat. But then they forget about the one where it says you should help people that need the help and stuff. So they always want to use, again, they want to use the Bible for their purpose, which is the same verse over and over again, one verse. But show me verse.
Let me end this.
Let's go. Let's have a theological discussion. Let's get with it.
Let me ask the side chat if you'd like to have this, if you would like to have that kind of hangout where Marshall's not on his phone but is on a laptop where he can see the side chat. Press 69 now if you would like to see that. If you'd like to see that happen.
Yeah, I'd like them to show me. I'd like you to prove to me that I'm blaspheming the name of God by asking for help. That I'm blaspheming the name of God if I want to be prosperous. If that's blaspheming the name of God.
UFology, if he does that kind of chat, then he would be engaged with the.
Yeah, I'm willing to have a theological discussion. Prove that to me in Scripture, what you're saying, instead of just running your mouths on the side chat and stuff. Prove it to me in Scripture. So give me another verse besides the one that says, "Oh, if you're lazy, you don't eat if you don't work." Is that all you people have? Is that all you got? It's that's all they use and stuff. And you know what? I think it's about time that we have a theological discussion and get into it because what they're saying is not true. What they're saying is not true. It's not in the Bible. It's not in the Bible that
well, I don't, for me, I don't see the downside of that, because people are going to do what they'll be able to tell you some verses. I think most people have made up their choice, what they're going, where the way they come down on it. But if you want to engage in that kind of discussion, that's
they only give you one verse, which is the one verse that says, if you're lazy, if you don't work, you won't eat. They use that verse, and that's the only verse that they have. But I can give you. I think you'd be impressed by prosperity. I can give you 100 verses on giving and stuff.
Well, I think you might be impressed by what they're putting up. Like they say, they know a lot more about the Bible than I do.
I know a lot about the Bible and stuff. I know a lot about the Bible. I read the Bible for over a year and stuff.
All right, well, then we'll do it then. Not a problem for me. I don't know if it'll change minds or more hard.
Question to everybody out there right now, live on the side chat, whatever, how many people. Prove to me, show me a verse, post a verse on the side chat that says that I'm being blasphemous to the name of God or Jesus Christ by asking for help. Post a verse on there, and I'm calling all you trolls out, all you think you know it all. Post a verse that it says that God doesn't want me to be prosperous. I'm calling all you trolls out. Post the scripture and stuff instead of running your mouths all night. Post something. There's nothing out there what they're saying. I'm just sick and tired of these people saying that I'm blaspheming the name of God and Jesus Christ.
Well, the only thing I know to do then is to put them
I'm calling them out. Put the scripture out instead of in your mouth and stuff. Let's do scripture by scripture.
Tonight's not the night that it's going to happen. We'll have
we need to have a theological discussion and stuff, but they keep on talking out of their ass and stuff.
We'll have to have a Bible in hand, and as they post things on the side, then we will go. I'll put the slow chat mode on, and then they can put the verses that they want, and then we can examine them and see what they think. And let's see, because there is a chance, Marshall, that people know a little more about the Bible, certainly than I do, and maybe you do too. So let's just see what they do. So we'll make that.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see a verse saying that I'm blaspheming the name of God and I'm going to go to hell for asking for help. I'd love to see that. Please show me the verse. Please show me a verse where it says that God wants me to be dirt poor and not have nothing and not ask for help and that I shouldn't prosper. Please show me a verse. Let me call all of you think you know it all trolls out.
Okay.
I'm sick and tired of it and stuff.
Well, we'll have it for next week. And let me just say, Marshall, I'm going to be closing it down now. And I want to thank everybody on this side. I think you agree the mods were very light in here. We didn't really have any, nobody got denied of their say in here. And I think that's a good thing on a chat. Marshall, think carefully as your friend to tell you Narse has put out some things to you. The family is hurting. I'm not going to get into stuff, but there's stuff that he put out there maybe to think about. I don't want an answer now, but just think about stuff that you want to say because he put it out there. And, I love Narse. He is like a nephew to Jen and I, and we do care for him. But we'd like you too. So I'd like to see if that family stuff could ever be put together. But it's on you now. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. Marshall, thanks for coming on. I did put a good build idea out for you to think about here for the future. And I will see you guys tomorrow night for the baking. We'll see about getting Marshall on. We'll have a Bible thing for one night. Thank you, Matronista. Don't forget Matronista on the side too, please. She lost her husband. It's anything you can do to help her out would be appreciated on her channel. She's a wonderful woman. It's very hard to bury a loved one with cancer and see them go. And she's a OG boy and a wonderful person on here. All right. Thank you, everybody. And appreciate you being here.